Hey, you guys, this is Vegan Chef Emmy Wu, and welcome to the first episode of the Roundtable. If you are connected, you are able to text and write. If you have Google Hangouts, um, you're able to find the House of Vegannatti Roundtable Live through Google Hangouts on Google, if you have Google. If not, you can inbox me on my Facebook if you have any health questions, and we can answer them. So tonight we will have Dr. Amsu from the Aboriginal Medical Association. Shout out to Dr. Amun, his partner. Dr. Amsu Ampu is part of Fibroid Elimination, Electric Food, AMA Health, and the Reservoir Doctors, the hip hop doctors. Okay, so I just want to welcome everyone in. If you can share the profile that's on Facebook and everything, let everybody know. While I'm talking to you guys, please let everybody know that wanted to join. You guys can share it, however, but I welcome you guys in. Once again, my name is Vegan Chef Emmy Wu. I am also a wellness self-relationship coach. So I welcome you guys in tonight. This is very important for you guys to know these things. A lot of us women need to know these things, need to know what's going on in our health. It is time for us to take back our womb. Okay, so please hit the link on Facebook. Do what you have to do. Let a friend know. Let whoever know. Tune in if you have any questions. Like I said, if I hear a ding in my Facebook, I'll be glad to answer it. But you can also find me on Google Hangouts, this and that. So I welcome everybody. So the roundtable, this is the first episode of the roundtable, and the roundtable is going to be about really taking back your health, taking back your mind, taking back the whole you. I know we're used to synthetic drugs and, you know, what we have been taught growing up, you know, how we're to eat. Take this is good for you. Oh, pop this. And it's really no difference to me about when you take a synthetic drug and you're looking at someone that's addicted to drugs. You are actually addicted to that drug yourself, and you're allowing your organs and your bodies to be addicted to that drug. But the difference is, once your immune system gets used to that, you'll go back to the physician, right? And he'll up your drug, your prescription, or he'll tell you have another ailment. You know, sometimes we'll go to a doctor and we'll say, oh, I'm getting cramps, or I'm having problems with my menses, or I had high blood pressure, but you turn around months later and you're diagnosed with diabetes, or you're diagnosed with thyroid issues, or you have fibroids, and you're like, why, how did the hell did I get this? So in this show, I'm going to keep it raw and I'm going to keep it real. And it's going to be factual. Some of you may not like what I'm going to say. Some of you will take it and break free today. Some of you will still go back and do what you have to do. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is my testimony. Okay. I had a collapsed lung in 2007. I ended up having to be on an inhaler. Okay. I was on albuterol, and I also had cysts. And, you know, I was the type of female that I thought it was cute to be this thick female or semi-thick female. I wanted the big booty and all this other stuff. So I would eat and gorge on processed foods, all those type of things, you know, because I had to now ask myself, was I really caring about me, or was I worried about keeping men's eyes on me, or, you know, the image that a video vixen or whatever it was in life that I wanted to be at that time, was that really good and healthy for me? Was I really blind to the fact that I was really unhealthy? I was unhealthy for my size. I was unhealthy for my mind. I was unhealthy for the whole me, the spiritual me, everything. So I ended up around 2014 when I got with my fiance, and things started changing. I got healthy. I stopped taking my inhaler. I noticed that when I lost the weight and I became vegan, and then I went raw for about 6 months, I noticed that my breathing wasn't funny. I was smoking cigarettes too. And I noticed when I was smoking cigarettes back then, it was horrible. So You young women out here that smoking cigarettes, and I know I was one of them, you need to stop. You need to stop, because you do not want COPD. I've had girlfriends that lost their parents to COPD, and I've never seen what I've been seeing about all these ailments getting worse. They're worse than how they were back in the day. Like COPD is making people paralyzed. Like what is not the COPD, it's the medicine and all the chemicals. Your body can only withstand certain things that's entering in. So when a doctor keeps, oh, you need to take this and we need to do this to you, you're nothing but a guinea pig to the practitioner. And no offense to the doctors that's out here, you love what you're doing, but some of you really don't care about your patient. And sometimes we need to look at our doctors and see how healthy they are. So if you have a doctor with a pudge, and you have a doctor that's like not healthy, maybe you don't need to talk to that doctor. Maybe we need to look at things like that. And I'm sorry that's judgmental, but we really need to pay attention where we're getting our information in to better our lives. But the first things first is you're the cure to your life. And God gave you the land to eat from. He looked at you too as an animal, okay? Though you were human, but you still was just like the animal. Now, I will talk about flesh is not supposed to eat flesh. When you eat beef, does it make you feel energetic? Does it give you like your quote unquote fiber and your protein and your nutrients? When they kill that cow, okay, and I will have Dr. Amsu explain about beef and how it does attack the body. A lot of the meats, that's where you're getting your parasites from. You're thinking you're craving things, right? And you're not. It's parasites. That's all in your body. It's messing with your dopamine, your natural chemical in your body, and it's messing with the serotonin. So it's like little neurons going around in your body, and it's sending off the signals. And the dopamine actually is the one who controls our lust, our addictions, all that good stuff, our secrets. It doesn't tell you how much to take. It doesn't tell you when not to take. It just keeps you going until you crash, and then you go into this depression or anxiety. You go through all these different aggressions and stuff. So food does play a part of how your emotions are. Food does play a part how you carry your life and what you look like. And even if you go work out, and we'll get back to the meat, but even if you work out and you look good and you're ripped and you're fine and you're thick and all this other stuff, does not mean that you don't have a mental matter. Does not mean that your organs are all the way live. Because when you're taking, we'll talk about the formulas that you workout people are taking, as far as like the whey protein and how dangerous whey protein is, things of that nature. We'll talk about that tonight. So Dr. Amsu will be here in a minute, and we will discuss that as well. So I know I got a lot of questions about fertility. I know a lot of sisters out here are having problems with fertility. We are going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about if you are trying to have with child and you have fibroids, we need to talk about that. If you have PCOS, if you have endometriosis, fibroid Malaysia, whatever it may be, sis, we are going to break that. Men, we are going to talk about erectile dysfunction. We are going to talk about renal issues. We're going to talk about it all, about obesity. I just want you guys free from it. But like I said, it takes one burger 2 weeks to completely digest. You still have waste in your stomach from when you were younger. Just because you go take a crap or a bowel movement, since I don't want to be professional, I'm just going to keep it real. But just because you go and you have a bowel movement does not mean you completely flushed out. And there's a really important thing that I need to talk to you guys about. Everyone that's out here doing these fast and detoxing and all this stuff spiritually, all that stuff, you're doing it for God, but are you really doing it for God? Because if you are, and you could be mad at me, but I'm a spiritual woman, but I take fasting very seriously. And if you're going to fast and you do a fruit fast or you do a nothing fast, and you go back and put poison back in your body, then you're just doing it because everybody else is doing it, okay? And you need to change that view, because your Allah, Buddha, whatever you want to call him by name, those fasts are nothing, just something to do because your church does it. This, God gave you fasting to purify yourself. God gave you fasting to clean out of the filth of the world, emotionally, physically, mentally. The whole you is supposed to rise up. So when you go through a fast and you know you feel good and you flushed out, why would the hell would you go back after that and go hurry up and go to McDonald's or Wendy's or Dairy Queen or wherever, Checkers, and go put some bad stuff back in your body? What was the purpose? When God wanted you to clear out and have clean blood. If you're anointed, and as we say, and we're going into our higher realm, and you want to be higher in your enlightenment, food is one of your part of your enlightenments. Okay, food is very important. A lot of the food that we eat has a lot of things that damage the estrogen. Okay, estrogen levels, heightens them. When you eat meat and you know you have fibroids and you have cysts, it feeds it, it grows. Just like cancer, it makes it grow. All these things can be cured. As long as you're breathing every day and you're fighting for your life, you have a cure. If you feel that you have to, if you're used to each his own, you have a free will. You want to keep going back to the doctor, you want to keep going back, and you don't want to put it in your hands, and you're that lazy, and you want to put it back in other people's hands, by all means, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. It's on you. It's not on anybody else. You know, everything that you learned tonight, everything that you will hear Dr. Amsu talk about, you will either have a choice to move on it, change it as of today, and go for it. Now, once again, you can, if you have a Google Hangouts, you can find the House of Vegannatti table live. You know, you can scroll and do the texting. I don't know how I can do this. We're gonna figure this out the next round table, but he's coming. He's on his way. So it's very important. So I want you guys to stay tuned. This is very important. I know a lot of you guys said you were interested, and I thank you. But when I look at people that want to come, I know they really want to change their life. They want to know some type of information or outformation, right? For your information. When I get people that say they're interested, it makes me know that their flesh and their mindset is like, oh, I want to change, but no, it actually shows me who you are, because it's Sunday. Why not sit down and support someone and learn something that's for your life? And I'm for right now, no more writing your bucket list for death when you die. Write a bucket list for when you want to, while you're living. Do your bucket list of life. Take back your womb, ladies. Take back your womb. Men, take back your health, because it's your husband's responsibility too, as well, women, to make sure if he loves you that you're healthy and that you're in rare form. Because we have to take care of each other being married. We have to take care of each other even if we're in a relationship. A lot of you guys, you know, are thinking about, well, I know somebody asked me about spinach. Spinach is a hybrid. It's not good for your body, and I will bring that up to Dr. Amsu. As far as recipes are concerned, you guys can get talk to me after the show if you want to learn more about recipes and cooking. But my whole thing is about your mindset. Why do we constantly gorge on food? And a lot of us do it because of barriers and emotional. And I'll give an example. My stepsister Tara died probably about my junior year of high school. My stepsister suffered from bulimic and anorexic, and the reason why I said I was going to start talking about Tara is because there's a lot of you that have eating disorders, and eating disorders just not bulimic and anorexia. Eating disorders also gorging, overeating, and it deals with emotional issues, and it deals from other people being in control of your life. And my sister was a straight A student and on the dean's list at Waynesburg College for nursing. And even when she was on her externship at a nursing home, they told her she couldn't lift. And that day, she was up and alive and talking. My sister weighed about 74 pounds. To see someone tie cow rope to her clothes, cow rope from a farm, or to see her put a maid of honor dress on, and you can see the skeleton, her whole formation, and trying not to cry in front of her or try to act like it wasn't existing, hurt a lot. And to find my sister, you know, on the floor, you know, after I was just talking to her and asking her, let's go shopping and things. And even while I'm talking to you, it bothers me because I live it, and I know it's real. So all you women out here, and this is what I'm saying, you only have one life to live. So please do not, if you have an eating disorder, please contact me, and I would love to support you and change your life. If you are gorging, and you know, to see a woman 400 and 500 pounds, a sister, and she's frying chicken on her bed and eating, I don't know if you saw that episode, and she can't get up, bothers me. Obesity is very strong. You guys think that obesity is just somebody that's 400 and 500 pounds. Obesity is, if you cannot fit your jeans and you know, when you go running and you're breathing heavy, even if you're the same size as me and you know that you're having issues with your breathing or you feel like you're out of shape, then that's your body telling you something. That's your body letting you know, listen, you need to change. Something in you has to change now, or you're going to die. You're self-suiciding yourself. You're allowing the earth, you're allowing the people, places, and things to, you're self-inflicting your suicide to your own self through eating processed foods, through macheteing your life, or you're trying to worry about what you look like. You know, if you've been skinny all your life, be grateful for how the Creator has created you. If you been thick, as you say, and we need to get that, I'm thick boned and all this. Us sisters out here and us certain women, we have a shape, we have hips, but you need to lose that unwanted fat. I'm 40 years old and I still get people saying, oh, you look like you're 19, you look like this. I want to look like that when I'm 60, 80, 90 years old. I don't want to look like, you know, I'm having issues, or you can see through my veins, I'm sick. I don't want to be transparent illness. I want to be full. I want to live. So I'm asking everyone tonight that to take back your life. I need you to take back your life. I want you to take back your life. I want you to kick lupus and diabetes in the ass. I want you to understand that you can change it. Some of the pills that you're all the synthetic drugs you're taking is causing more ailments to your sickness. You rather listen to a man or a woman that you'll never see every day in your life. You only see them once, twice a year. You'll go to a medical doctor, and if it's a real detrimental issue, we understand. We understand you have to get surgery, but before you even have to say yes to surgery, do it. Become natural. Change your life. You have it in your hands. Why are you so? It's a habit. Giving somebody else your life when you only have one life. But it's so funny. You want to give your life to a human, but you don't want to give your life to you, and you don't want to give your life to the Creator. And me being at churches, me seeing churches, I've seen so many people in churches or wherever that are obese, but they don't add in their church or tell their church that we need to be healthy. You don't put health programs in there. You don't do that if you are walking in God. And if for some reason I'm on this because the fasting really bothers me, because you only do it when you want to, and it should be a monthly thing for you if you're spiritual, okay? And even if you don't go to church and you do a different enlightenment, you should add fasting to your life. It's very important to clear out. It's very important to get the detoxing out. It's very so much important, okay? So what else? There's so much that we can talk about your womb. Ladies, you need to take care of your womb. When you have a menstrual and you have a scent, everything tells you that you have a poor diet. Ladies, if you have a fishy scent or you have a scent that's You know, you don't clean yourself out after intercourse. All this stuff, even if you're not having intercourse anymore, you don't have a period, but you still have a scent, that's your vagina telling you that, hello, what you're eating ain't good. And hello, you need to clean that. And I will have Dr. Amsu explain to you about how douches are very dangerous, how you're supposed to really take care of yourself with cleansing also. And he should be up soon. He should be up here very soon. So I'm just really about, the reason why I did this roundtable is not just because I want you to know who I am. I'm really, really pushing about the stop being married to your food. I want women to take back their wombs. I want men to take back their life. Men need to walk. All the smoking weed out here, okay, like I said, free will. The tobacco that you're smoking, the drinking that you're doing, you know, we all need to take care of ourselves. You only get one of these, one of this. So it's very important. Look yourself in the mirror and say, ask yourself, do you really care about yourself? Do you really love yourself? It's very important. You know, just because I'm a vegan chef and people think, oh, my book is just going to be about recipes. No, my book has mantras. My book has mantras in it because I believe that spirituality is very important when you're changing your diet. I believe that your mind has to change. I believe you're going to go through emotional issues because everything detoxes. Your stress plays a part on your diet, everything. You go, say for instance, Jane goes and she goes and all day long works in this high stress volume company. Then after she does that, she comes home, what's the first thing she do? She takes off her coat, she takes off her shoes. And some of you are probably talking about somebody. And you get home, first thing you do, you go to your refrigerator, you go get your bottle of wine, you know what I'm saying? And you're gonna sit down and smoke a cigarette. Normally, there's a lot of women out here that are doing that. There's a lot of men that do that. So you'll go do that. You might pop off your clothes and you'll go get in the tub and you're still smoking your cigarette and drinking wine. But you have a heavy emotional stress. You're in a high volume stress. You're worried. You don't hardly eat. Some of you don't hardly eat. You're just consuming coffee every day. You're consuming just nothing but sugary products every day, Coca-Cola every day, Mountain Dew every day. Everything you're consuming. Let me see if I can get Dr. Amsu up here. But you're constantly consuming, and you're not even thinking about your organs. Do any of y'all, I would love to hear if you guys really, truly love your organs. You're more worried about the outside, but your inside is carrying that outside. So if you don't take care of your organs, you won't amount to nothing. Nothing doesn't matter. And if you don't change your life and be disciplined, and I know a lot of you women out here are saying, it's hard. I can't do it by myself. You guys set New Year's resolutions and, and then you do it for 2 weeks. And then after 2 weeks, you don't do it anymore. And why is that? Because you feel I'm doing it by myself. That lets me know, everyone has a confidence, or we procrastinate, or we allow our mind to idolize, things of that nature. Let me see if I can get him up here because it's time for you guys to really hear some great information. And I hope I'm getting to someone, and someone is really tuning in and just not, and I thank you all for the support. So be right back. I'm going to see if he's here because we keep this show real. Okay. So just stay right there. Don't go nowhere. So 1 second. See, quick in a hurry. So he is on his way. I'm going to give him some room. And he's getting ready to come. So that way, you guys can see him as well. He's a cool fella, cool type of dude, but you're gonna love what he has to say. And so the sisters that are needing help with fertility, you know, I just want him to touch ground on a lot of different things. So he's walking in. I'm not gonna move it so you can see him, but he's walking in as we speak. All right, so this is Dr. Amsu from the Aboriginal Medical Association, AMA Health, the Reservoir Doctors, Fibroid Elimination, electric food. However, but I was just talking to them about proper diet, about what beef does to the body, parasites, things of that nature. We talking about everything. So I feel that, you know, why people are married to their food, they want to know why, or why they may be gorging. You know, is it a mental thing? Things of that nature. So you can give them different stuff about like the fibroid myalgia, you know, even for the men too. You can just have the table. I'm just gonna listen.
All right. Usually I don't just talk into a screen. I don't have no feedback, but I'm gonna do my best. All right, 6 viewers. Let us know you're there, viewers. If you have any questions or anything like that.
They're gonna Facebook me.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, when people are, you know, like what Dr. Emmy says here, she says married to the food. I have the scientific version of that, right? Which is everything is chemical. So when you eat certain foods, it's the stimulus. There's a lot of excitotoxins in foods. They titillate the tongue and they titillate the nerves. So there's a feeling that of satisfaction or reward that food often gives people. So that being said, a lot of people are, you know, become what we call addicted to their foods by the taste, by the excitement that it brings, you know, the flavor and how it excites the neurons. So one of the things what happens to our tongues over time when we eat foods that are excitotoxins, our tongues become insensitive, meaning we lose the ability, you know, we need spicy, or we need foods that are sweet or salty to actually be able to taste foods, because, you know, as the tongue becomes more insensitive, we have to up the ante with the flavoring of the foods. And most often, you know, this is called the umami taste. And this taste is, you know, from foods with artificial flavorings. Those artificial flavorings are, you know, monosodium glutamate or MSG. And this is very addictive in the flavor. So it's not just grown-ups, it starts from a very young age. So children especially. So now you have, you know, you've got things like Cheetos, and they love the taste of cheese, but the taste of cheese isn't really cheese. It's an artificial cheese that's been enhanced to, like, you know, over cheese the cheese. Then you have things like all these flame, you know, hot what they call hot fries and, you know, takis and all these things here. And these are not real foods. They are artificial foods. They're made up of chemicals. They're not real foods. They're not real flavor. Well, they are a flavor, but it's an artificial synthetic flavor. And these are very damaging. They cause numerous amounts of diseases that either happen when you're young, or they take their toll as you get older. So this is responsible for all kinds of you know, degenerative or autoimmune diseases, and then later on in life, or it could be earlier on in life, it's actually you know, neurological diseases, you know, which cause all kinds of issues. So, you know, the whole thing is chemical. Everything is chemical about when you're eating foods, and, you know, you have that, that excitement about the food. It's all chemical, and all our emotions are governed by the way how our, what chemicals are released, and what you know, the balance of those, or the flow of those chemicals in reaction with our neural glands, our brain and neurons. So, you know, emotions are actually chemicals. There are actual chemicals that are related to behavior. So it you know, it governs or dictates our behavior, and then that behavior can become negative feedback, which we want more food. We want more of it, so we eat more, even though we know, you know, somebody could tell you this is bad for you, but you're still gonna go ahead and go and eat the foods that are bad because it tastes so good. You know, most of the times we like to say, well, it tastes good, I don't care, I'm gonna worry about that later on in life, you know. And then when it catches up, it's like, all right, oh, I want to detox, I want to detox. But then the detoxes get bad because, man, I want to eat something, I need something with weight, I want to put something with weight in my body, and I need that taste, I need that flavor. So the tongues are desensitized when you eat things like greens or salads. They just taste like, they don't taste of anything. It's like, man, just taste. And we like, when we like to say when something don't taste of anything, it tastes disgusting. But it's not that it tastes disgusting, it's just that you just have a texture in your mouth and there ain't no flavor to it. So one of the things when we detox, our tongues start to become re-educated, become sensitive again, so we can actually taste the flavors in foods.
So also, what about, I know a couple people wanted to know about fertility. One couple ladies are having issues with pregnancy, like their cervix is open. Why would their cervix be open? And they may have like fibroids, like people with fibroids that are pregnant and they're losing the baby. Why is that? Is it
okay? There's a phenomenon called estrogen dominance, and this is a silent pandemic. The reason why it's silent is because most women who are going through estrogen dominance would be, and these are the diseases that is actually estrogen dominance, but the disease manifests itself as different conditions, such as fibroid tumors, such as endometriosis, such as polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, such as ovarian cysts. And sometimes, you know, the fibroids are actually a benign way of letting you know you are tumorous. Those tumors can become, you know, later on in life, can actually become cancerous. Not that those tumors, fibroid tumors, become cancerous, but it's letting you know that your womb is susceptible, or your body is susceptible to tumors, and more often than not, tumors, you know, malignant tumors will develop. So you have this thing where a lot of women are being told they need hysterectomies. So, for instance, Black women in the United States, African American women, lead the world in hysterectomies. Half of those hysterectomies are due to uterine fibroids, but fibroids are benign tumors, right? So they're not going to kill you unless they're interfering with like your liver or your kidney or other organs, which may, you know, if by them pressing against it, it may cause severe damage. But, you know, a lot of women are being told they need either myomectomies, which is the removal of just the fibroids, or hysterectomies, and sometimes they have cysts and polycystic ovaries, which they say, all right, you know, just get rid of the womb, have a hysterectomy, this will rectify the situation. You don't need to do that, because this is the thing, removal of the womb, removal of the fibroid tumors, or removal of cysts or whatever, polycystic breasts or whatever, this polycystic wombs, when they get rid of, you know, they try to get rid of all the stuff that's going on. If they remove your womb, it does not get rid of estrogen dominance. It only gets rid of the local, you know, tumors. These local tumors become an issue, right? They take your womb out. You're still estrogen dominant. That estrogen, now there's 4 places in the female body where there's the most estrogen receptors, all right? The uterus and the ovaries are number 1, the womb, number 1 place. Then it's the breasts, then it's your brain and your liver. By removing the womb, the uterus, or your whole womb, or whatever, there's nowhere for the estrogen is going to find somewhere else where there's receptors. So most often than not, women who have hysterectomies, within 5 to 10 years after a hysterectomy, they suffer from breast cancer. Now it's a cancerous situation because estrogen is a carcinogen. So by getting rid of the womb and not getting rid of the root cause, which is estrogen dominance, you are susceptible to breast cancer, or it could be brain cancer, it could be cancer of the liver, hepatic cancer. But these are the things that take place, and especially after hysterectomy, menopause kicks in, and then that's when they hit you with HRT, hormone replacement therapy. And guess what they put inside you? Estrogen. They put more estrogen, and that's the problem. So, you know, first of all, you don't need surgery, right? You only need to inhibit your intake of estrogen and get rid of the estrogen out of your body. We actually have a book with me, the Fibroids, the Fibroid Elimination Bible, right? And this is the authority on how you get rid of your estrogen dominance, right? Written by myself, Dr. Amsu, and Dr. Amun, all right? Now, we've had high success rate with it. It's a disciplinarian situation where, you know, you have to give up certain foods. So if you're married to your food, you have to divorce your foods, get rid of it. You know, the bad foods that are high in estrogens. Now there are phytoestrogens which still cause problems. So if you're a meat eater and you're thinking, all right, I'm going to become a vegetarian, becoming a vegetarian or a vegan isn't good enough. You have to give up those vegetables which have phytoestrogen, which is plant estrogen, because it's going to put estrogen in your body anyway. So there's your food, like from meat, all kinds of meats, no matter what kind of meat they are high in estrogens. And there's dairy, high in estrogen, right? You got wheat, high in estrogen, white rice, you know, caffeine, any form of caffeine or alcohol. What they do is they themselves overwork your liver. Your liver is always trying to get rid of nitrogen out of the body. So when you're consuming foods which are nitrogen based, which is in alcohol or in caffeine, it overworks your liver. So your liver's supposed to be metabolizing estrogen out of your body, but it gets caught up trying to get rid of alcohol or caffeine out of your body. So all of you who have coffee, and you know, you drink coffee on a regular, like during the day, the first thing you have is coffee and donuts, whatever, that's a bad combination, because you're actually taking up your liver's ability to metabolize. All right, so you give up all meat, all dairy, all sugars, white rice, wheat. Wheat is highly inflammatory. Sorry, that's my phone.
This is real TV. This is
Oh, this is actually Dr. Amun, but I'm not going to answer that.
Shout out to Dr. He already knows probably. I don't know.
I want to put this on silence, which I was gonna do.
I know that I don't mention names, so I'm not gonna mention any names. I want to know about eating habits for Graves' disease. I am holding on to weight and craving sweets all the time. I also have polycystic ovarian syndrome because of Graves' disease. I also do not have regular periods, but when I do have them, my body feels as if I can't move. I also suffer from high blood pressure, water retention, depression, anxiety, migraines. I also want to learn how to make this transition.
Okay, don't. Oh. She got rid of it. She got rid of it.
No, I didn't get rid of it. I didn't get rid of it.
But anyway, all right. I'm gonna try to remember what was said.
Don't worry, we got your back.
All right. So can I mention her name, or was it anonymity?
I know her real name, but you can just say June.
All right. So June. All right. So Graves' disease. All right. There's two problems in the female body that's causing a lot of problems with females. One is the estrogen dominance. Two are white blood cells. Now with Graves' disease, that means that you have hyperthyroid, right? You have hyperthyroidism. It means your thyroid is overactive, that your metabolism is through the roof, and you can't put any weight on, and you get violent shivers, shakes, and it's debilitating shakes and whatever, right? So estrogen is a cause of that, and so are white blood cells. So the same thing with fibroids or any PCOS or anything. There are two things that's going on in your body. You're estrogen dominant, and what estrogen does, estrogen is a steroid. It's a catabolic steroid. It basically it penetrates the cell membrane, and then it disrupts your mitochondria of the cell. It disrupts it and slows it down. It basically takes out your mitochondria. So your cell itself becomes slow and low in charge. When your cells in your body become low in charge, it triggers an autoimmune response, meaning white blood cells start attacking the cell, because the white blood cells see those low charge cells as foreign entities. So they're going to start attacking the cell. When they attack the cell, they release powerful chemicals. They can be cytokine, histamine, TNF alpha. There's so many different names. There's so many different names for these chemicals that are released by these white blood cells. They cause tumor. They cause inflammation. Tumor is one stage of inflammation. Okay. Now with Graves' disease, what's going on in your body is that the estrogen is attacking your thyroid. But what happens with your thyroid now is that you have these white blood cells called thyroid stimulating immunoglobulins. These are white blood cells that mimic thyroid stimulating hormone. This is thyroid stimulating hormone is basically what your brain sends out to your thyroid to say, okay, we need you to metabolize some energy, some food, some stuff that we've eaten, so we need you to release some thyroid hormone, right? T4, T3, right? So these thyroid stimulating immunoglobulins, they actually mimic that action of the brain thyroid stimulating hormone to tell your thyroid to produce thyroid hormone. Thyroid hormone then tells the body to metabolize food and burn up energy, up the ante with metabolism. All right. So these thyroid stimulating immunoglobulins or white blood cells are actually lying to your body, lying to your thyroid hormone to say, produce more thyroid hormone, produce more. And then this, makes you metabolize, and it also wears out your thyroid. Your thyroid gland starts to become sluggish. It starts to deteriorate because it's overworked. And this could lead to goiter, and other serious conditions. So white blood cells are one part of the problem. So we have estrogen and we have white blood cells. All right. So we actually do have a formula for Graves' disease. We call it new hyperthyroid, which is to regulate the thyroid in its function, and we also inhibit production of white blood cells. And we have a very famous patient, Christina Johnson, who you all will know suffers from, if you follow her or anything like that, she suffered from Graves' disease. Now she's one of our patients, and she's living her life. It's fantastic. She's acting, she's dancing, she's doing all kinds of stuff. We've taken her off her medication, or those iodine, those what's the term? Radio iodine, radioactive iodine, and that, we've got her off that, and she's doing fantastic, and she's like, I don't need my medication. So through our formulas, we've got her off that. Now we have a formula called Essence of Fertility. We have a website called fibroidelimination.com. Fibroidelimination.com, which deals with everything estrogen dominant, right? On that website, you can see our herbal supplements. One of those is Essence of Fertility. This deals with estrogen dominance. It also deals with infertility. It deals with everything to do with the reproductive organ. It also eliminates sexually transmitted diseases as well, right? We have a formula called Phoenix, which is for your blood. It's for your blood, and it inhibits white blood cells. All right. So white blood cells, if you are of African American or African heritage, it's actually been genetically proven now that white blood cells are not supposed to be in the African's body. This is something which is a Neanderthal, from the Neanderthal genome, which has come into our bodies through racial mixture, and it is actually a pathogen in the body. Now, even European scientists have, and there's a big debate going on within the scientific community about whether or not white blood cells are pathogens, which are things which are bad, get into your body through the blood, right? Or if they're good. Now, all the evidence points to the negative, that they are bad. And it's our, as the AMA Health, it's our stance, and the way how we treat our patients is based upon white blood cells are pathogens. So we inhibit white blood cells. Also, estrogen has been taught to be the female hormone. Estrogen is not the female hormone. Progesterone is the female hormone. Estrogen is a mutated form of progesterone and testosterone. And testosterone and progesterone are mutated into estrogens by way of aromatization. Aromatase is an enzyme which transmutes or transforms or mutates these natural hormones into this other hormone. So these are the things that are causing problems in the female body. So PCOS, again, is estrogen disrupting the endocrine system and stopping granulosal cells from being produced along with follicle stimulating hormone, and then it's changing androgens into estrogen, and then there's a negative feedback, and it goes over and over and over again, and then it causes things like hirsutism, and it also causes polycystic environment where there's multiple cysts. So estrogen dominance is actually your root cause, and white blood cells are the supporting cast. Okay, are there any other questions?
Miss Taylor wants to know, how can she make this transition even for her children properly? I know she wants to do the event next week to give me back my
womb.
So
there you go.
So anyway, he's goofy.
All right. So all right.
For the children.
So all right. So for yourself, this is what's going to be hard, because you govern yourself. So on you, it's going to be harder than it's going to be on your children. Guess why? Because like she will tell you, my children, no, you're not getting it. No, you're not getting it. So I don't give my children any allowance, because while they're transitioning or they're learning not to eat bad foods, and I know as soon as my back turned, they're going to buy bad foods. So I don't give them money to go to the gas station, because kids love to go to the gas station or somewhere else where there's poison and go and buy all these, all these snackaroonie kinds of foods, which are terrible for them. So, the whole thing is with your children, you govern your children, right? Now, autism, right? My eldest son is autistic, and that was due to the MMR, the vaccinations, which just been revealed like within the last year or two through that whistleblower of the CDC that revealed that these vaccinations specifically target black children, black boys, right? So black boys, they knew that in these vaccinations that it would cause autism in black boys. Now, with autism, you have to keep sugar and excitotoxins and caffeine, the same things, estrogen, and anything that will increase, anything of excitotoxin nature is bad. Sugar, all of these things, it makes them, get hyper and whatever. When they're young, they may sway a bit more and make more noise and whatever. But as they get older, unfortunately, that becomes violence, because one of the things what happens when you have excitotoxins, it increases the risk of hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia means, especially with the brain, means that your brain isn't getting enough glucose. When the brain doesn't get enough glucose, it ends up with depression or anxiety or anger, rage. And these are things that from an early age, it starts to devour. By the time they get older, hyperglycemia has been, tested with prisoners and anybody who has any kind of violent crimes or whatever, and 95% of violent criminals are found to be hypoglycemic. So, so let me move back to the transition. All right. So what you can start doing is cut out certain foods. You cut out the white bread, right? Or cut out all wheat. In fact, cut out wheat, cut out white rice. You can replace white rice with wild rice, right? So you still have rice. And this wild rice is actually great for you, right? Don't get just black rice, because you have this black rice that's out there, which is forbidden rice, but that is just starchy. So we want to get rid of all starches. So get rid of the starchy rice and use wild rice. Get rid of wheat, replace wheat with spelt. Now you can go a step further and get gluten-free spelt, but spelt is the original wheat, which isn't as starchy, which is has more nutrients in it for you and isn't inflammatory. Wheat is highly inflammatory, meaning it causes your white blood cells in your body to go crazy, and it causes inflammation inside you, right?
What foods are, you told them about the elixirs, but what foods cause the issues, even in vegetables? What vegetables are also making it bad too? Because everybody thinks, oh, well, I'll just do the vegetables, but every vegetable isn't good.
I mean, what I will do is this. Everybody who's on here, I'm going to give Emmy Wu your what we have a do not eat list and an eat list. This will give you it's not a comprehensive list, but it's a big enough list which basically will encompass most of the stuff that you eat that is bad for you, and you'll get that list, and some of them are going to be surprising for you. Also, there's foods that you can eat, right? As in fruits and vegetables that you can eat, but here's the problem. If those fruits and vegetables that you can eat are not organic and they're grown conventionally with pesticides, a lot of the pesticides have chemicals that mimic estrogen. Again, pesticides that mimic estrogen. And there's what is known as the dirty dozen, a food list. Every year, there's a list that comes out, and it reveals what foods are worst affected by pesticides and herbicides and whatnot, right? And it lists the top 12. And on there, like apples and tomatoes and celery, things like that, that if it's not organic, don't eat it. Now, there are things which may not be organic, but they're still okay to eat, like watermelons. But with watermelons, make sure the watermelons are seeded, black seeded watermelons. Don't get the seedless stuff, right? Anything that you eat, any fruits that you eat, make sure they are seeded. Try to get organic, but make sure they have seeds.
So women
right?
that are having fertility issues.
Because there's a lack of manganese, a lot of stuff that you're eating, you know,
So if they run to the store and get,
right, seedless grapes and that kind.
The vitamins and
All right.
you know, shakes and stuff like that. You know, like a lot of people might say, "I'm not gaining weight, well, I'm gonna go get
protein shake, right?
Or
all right, and Ensure and those things, right?
And
A lot of problems with those protein shakes is, all right, where are the proteins being derived from? A lot of it is whey, right? Which is wheat, inflammatory. You know, there's dairy, Ensure and those, they're milk, they're processed milks. They're like milk on steroids, right? So inflammatory. You know, estrogen causes infertility. All right. So you've been taught in school, you know, oh, estrogen is a female hormone. It helps you in your pregnancy. No, 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 no. It's, you know, it actually does the opposite. You know, again, it is a catabolic, meaning it breaks you down. It degenerates, depletes. All right. Progesterone is what's good. So there's a balance between progesterone and testosterone that we all have, male and female. All right.
Can you talk to them about like the red 40, like the red, like, you know, red 40 and all that, how that affects like AD, yeah,
right.
ADHD.
A lot of these foods, again, these are chemicals. They're not really food. They are not really food. They are chemicals, and a lot of them are excitotoxins, right? They get in and they disrupt your endocrine system. Your endocrine system is your chemical communication for your whole body. It's how your brain communicates with organs and glands, and those glands have hormones and peptides that they secrete themselves. Now, your brain, your hypothalamus and your pituitary gland, they actually control the way how these glands switch on and off and produce their hormones and peptides themselves, right? These excitotoxins, these synthetic E numbers, these you know, what are they called? Artificial flavorings and preservatives and that, they all disrupt your chemical, you know, your hormones and your peptides. They throw them off balance. They sometimes impede, switch them off, and do whatever. So now your body's in disarray, and that's why, you know, you have so many conditions nowadays. And some of them, unfortunately, are cancer. You know, when some things stop producing, when certain minerals and peptides and hormones are not functioning correctly, it ends up that cells which are in your body that should commit suicide, right? When a cell has no use anymore, it goes through a process called cellular apoptosis, when it kills itself. By lack of certain hormones and chemicals, natural chemicals in your body, these cells don't know to switch off, and they proliferate, meaning they multiply. They duplicate themselves and multiply. That's where you have tumors, whether they're malignant or benign, they grow. All right. So those of you with fibroids, it's your body's way of telling you in a friendly way, even though it's not so friendly, but in a friendly way, like, it ain't gonna kill you, your tumors, and you need to fix your
so is
diet.
gluten-free foods really gluten-free?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not an authority on everybody who's out there stating that their foods are gluten-free. But again, this whole gluten-free situation has been, you know, another marketing ploy, you know, that's been put into being to make, to make money. You know,
what do you think about saying like everything?
But Cheetos, French fries, hot dogs, bread, sugary foods, all got to go. They've all got to go. They all have to go.
What are the specific foods for women who are having issues with fertility issues, or are trying, like they're holding like weight and can't get it down? What foods can they do if they choose to change their diets? What will help that start the process that they can feel different? Other than taking, you know, they must take a, you know, a supplement and changing their diet.
All right. So,
like, say they don't get the elixirs and they just need to know, okay, I need to just change this, because a lot of women they'll go through a diet and everything, but they'll still hold the weight. What is the cause of that? Like they'll work out and they just don't lose nothing.
But that is down, all right, if you're not losing any weight, it's down to what we call hypothyroidism, where your thyroid gland is not functioning properly. It is not producing thyroid hormone, right? And that's caused by immunoglobulins, but these now are, you know, white blood cells that don't stimulate the thyroid gland. They actually block the receptors. So when your hypothalamus is producing thyroid stimulating hormone, it's not actually, you know, your hormones and receptors, they fit like lock and keys. These the locks are being blocked by white blood cells when you have hypothyroidism, right? Meaning your thyroid doesn't kick in. It's because of white blood cells. So we have to get rid of those white blood cells. Now, there are natural foods that can inhibit white blood cells, but the minerals in the soil have been depleted, right? So we have to supplement our diet with herbal supplements in order to get the correct amount of minerals and nutrients that the body needs to inhibit stuff. First of all, you have to cut off the supply, right? So you're at war. Your body's at war, and there's all this negative stuff that comes into the body. You have to cut off that supply to whatever condition you have, because that's who your enemy is. So you have to cut off your enemy's supply. That's first of all, right? So cut off the supply. That's the foods that you have to give up. Now you start eating food which is actually good for your body, right? But at the same time, you have to inhibit, right? Start taking out the bad stuff that's in you. Now, fat is what stores estrogen. Fat stores estrogen and other toxins, and it also produces estrogen and white blood cells. So fat is not a part of your body. So a lot of women who are voluptuous, who are curvy, but their curves are made up of fat. That's not really you. Fat is an entity that lives on your body. All right. Now, you have to get rid of fat. The best way to get rid of fat is to starve the food that's producing the fat, meaning cut off foods that cannot be metabolized and processed, right? So meat is something in our bodies which we don't process, so it's stored as cellulose, right? Stored on the hips, on the thighs, on the buttocks, around the stomach, all right? You need to cut off your supply, all right? And then you have to do resistant training, which muscle burns fat. Muscle burns fat excellently. So you have, you know, I see a lot of fat women in the gym, and I don't like to use overweight, because overweight is not a good description to say when somebody's fat, because muscle weighs more than fat, right? So when you start to burn fat and it starts turning to muscle, you may gain weight, but it's a good weight as opposed to bad weight, all right? So I like to use the term fat. It might not be politically correct, but heck, I'm gonna say fat. So, right, I see a lot of fat women carrying fat, and men, but you know, because you're all women on here, we're gonna stick with the women.
How do you know that? There's men here.
Psychic.
Okay.
Right? So I see a lot of
Don't pay him
in the gym, I see a lot of people on treadmills. They're on the treadmills, and you know, and it's funny, right? When you go into a gym, that 7 out of 10 people on a treadmill is fat, right? Why is that? Because they've been told, oh, fat burn, you know, you're gonna sweat it off. No, when you go on a treadmill and you sweat, guess what you're losing? You're losing water. You're losing water. You're not burning any fat. You're losing water. And then what do people do after they get off a treadmill? They drink to replace the water they just lost. So guess what they just did? Nothing.
Coconut water, then?
Whether it's coconut water or water, it doesn't matter. You know, you're not supposed to be losing water. So resistance training, weight training, and calisthenics. Do resistance, press ups, pull ups, squats. No, like water retention, you know, you have people with edema, right? And that again is caused by cells, you know, cells losing their shape and their integrity, and the interstitial fluids of the cells leak, and then it gets into tissue that shouldn't. Here you have water retention, all right? So that's what we call edema. So that's not to say don't drink any water because you get rid of water. You have to make your cells of greater integrity, and that is done through, you know, eating the right diet and supplementing with minerals that the body needs.
What about women that are vegetarian or vegan, vegetarian or vegan, and they have fibroids?
Right. Again, all right. Fibroids are caused by
Or having
estrogen.
fertility issues.
Right. Fibroids are caused by estrogen. A lot of women who are vegans and vegetarians, they eat things like flax seeds. Right. They have flax with their food. Flaxseed is one of the highest, if not the highest, seeds for estrogen. There's things like carrots, things like dates, which are high in estrogen. Which dates are good, but if you have an estrogen issue, dates are not good because they have phytoestrogens in them. So while you're trying to get rid of fibers and all, you give up things like dates, right? But there's a whole, you know, the do not eat list, which I'm going to give to Emmy, is going to have a list of foods which are high in estrogens that you have to give up. You have to give up. All right.
Let's talk about water. The difference between tap water. So a lot of people still drink tap water, and they might, you know, is everything alkaline? They say, you know, on the bottle it's 9.5, and a lot of people don't know which water that's alkaline or how to properly, you know which water to really drink. Is tap water still good to drink? For me, I say no.
Tap water is terrible to drink, because tap water has in it, you know, the water system, right? So stuff goes down the sink, right, in your house. Somebody could vomit down the sink. Put, you know, now we have waste disposal units, all kinds of tablets and, you know, all kinds of foul whatever go into the sink. Now, the water cleaning system isn't that they actually clean the water. What they do is they add chemicals to the water, and then they say that it's now we've gotten rid of the, you know, bacteria in the water, but heavy metals, all kinds of chemicals are still in that water. So this is what we call bulk water. It's terrible. Don't drink it, right? It's bad enough that we washing it, it gets into our skin and it absorbs. But when you're actually drinking it, it's going to the digestive system and everything. That's, you know, that's a fast way to kill yourself, right? So all this stuff again now, so we're going to dispel the myths about alkaline water now, all right? So your body, and in particular your blood, is has a pH, and pH is parts hydrogen, or, you know, percentage of hydrogen. Now, pH of your blood is 7.36, so it's neutral but slightly alkaline. Neutral but slightly alkaline. So when people are talking about, oh, I want to become alkaline, and oh, this water here is 10.6 pH, that's overly alkaline. You want to have water that is as close to your blood as possible. So if it's 8, cool. If it's 8.5, cool. You know, but these machines, especially these Kangen or Kangen, whichever way you like to say it, machines, these water machines, they're terrible because they don't have any minerals in them. They are basically ionized, meaning the water's separated. The positive ions are separated from the negative ions. The positive ions is the acidic part of the water, which is the positively charged, and the negatively charged, which is the electrons. That's going to be your alkaline water, right? But natural water that's alkaline is because of minerals such as potassium or phosphorus or magnesium, calcium, you know, things of that nature. You know, these are alkaline minerals, but your body needs acidity too. That's why your blood is just slightly alkaline. It's, you know, it's at a neutral phase. So again, back to the Kangen machines, this is artificial alkalinity, because doesn't contain minerals. A lot of people are hooking up their tap water, their normal tap water, to these Kangen machines, and then they're producing this alkaline water, but it's water without a hydrogen atom. So it's basically hydroxide, right? Hydroxide. Now, when hydroxide mixes with anything, it now becomes a carcinogen or a toxin in your body. So you mix calcium with hydroxide, you get calcium hydroxide, which is a toxin, you know. So this is what's bad about alkaline water machines, ionizing machines. They're terrible. And the creator of the alkaline machine, he, you know, Dr. What's his name? Some Japanese name. I can't remember it right now. I always forget his name. But that guy, he basically said, you know, he made a big mistake, you know, with thing, and he promotes minerals. So those minerals are, you know, and when you're dealing with minerals now, minerals have to be derived from a natural place, not, you know, synthesized. So people who go out and they buy, like, oh, I'm going out, I'm buying calcium tablets, find out where the calcium is coming from. You're buying iron tablets, find out where the iron is derived from, all right? Because they get them from some disgusting places that, you know, would make your stomach turn, and they're not good for you.
I had a question about maca, saying that maca is good for fertility.
All right, maca is okay, but it doesn't provide everything that's needed for the reproductive system. So you want to have a whole situation going on. So it's not just about, yeah, taking maca and then, yeah, you know, I'm going to become fertile, because it's all about balancing your endocrine system, balancing your hormones. It's all about balance. Once your hormones are balanced, you're good to go, you know. But things like maca can be dangerous because they may push you out of balance.
How important is it for women, even men, to learn the herbs? Because a lot of herbs cause estrogen or your white blood cells to go higher, or, you know, cause extra, you know.
I mean, it's down to the individual, you know. Like us, you know, we study herbs, and we study what herbs do to the body, so we know how to put together formulas, right? So
I'm learning. I'm a babe. You know? I'm a babe. I'm a babe in it. There's no reception.
But
don't pay him no attention.
But you know, there are herbs which may be good for this thing here, but they're not so good for this thing here.
Right.
You know, so it's important to know. Like you heard my conversation earlier about there's a herb called chaparral, which is very good for getting rid of cancer, but it also will destroy your liver. So get rid of the cancer, but your liver, which is such an important organ in your body, what your liver does, it gets rid of toxins out of your blood, gets rid of poisons and toxins out of the blood. Anything that is not good, it filters it out, metabolizes it and filters it out. And it also assigns what's good in your food and whatever. It assigns those minerals and nutrients to organs to regenerate, rejuvenate, replenish. So your liver is very important. So you got cancer, you damage your liver, now your body's not being able to get rid of toxins, and then those toxins will turn into cancer sooner or later. So I'm saying, so this herb, for instance, chaparral, it's like a napalm. It's like you're looking to take out, you know, Osama bin Laden is in your body, he's hiding in a cave somewhere, you're gonna take him out. Here comes somebody with chaparral, and that's napalm, and it comes in and destroys, blows up the whole village. So you killed everybody else, but you got Osama bin Laden too. No
Now
good.
with
We want to
oils,
send in a
same
hitman.
thing with like when you're cooking with like olive oil, like vegetable oil, a lot of people on there vegetable oil, canola oil, all those different oils, not knowing that they have they're in estrogen, high in estrogen levels.
Right, olive oil is very high in estrogen.
So,
but also a thing with oils. When you're using any oil and you're using it to cook and you're heating the oils, when they are unsaturated fats like olive oil and canola oil and those are really bad, because when they're heated to a certain temperature, they become rancid. What that does is an actual toxin you're putting in, and it's a toxin, it's a poison that you're putting into your body, and then your body has an adverse reaction, an inflammatory response. Remember that word, inflammatory, right? Where it triggers white blood cells. White blood cells do so you get people who are bloated, you get people who have cramps, and gas, become gaseous, farting all over the place, and constipation, and then constipation leads to toxin buildup, and then that leads to all kinds of conditions. So oils, you want to get saturated fats like coconut oil, hemp oil, which have a higher threshold for how hot they can get before they become rancid.
So what about people who buy canned goods?
Canned goods are never a good look, because how old is the stuff in the can?
Even though if they have an expiration date, it says it lasts till a certain amount of years.
It don't matter. Who says that the person who says expires by?
So a lot of
all right, this is the thing. Something might not rot, it might not be rotten, right? But foods are made of chemicals, and those chemicals over age start to change into other chemicals. It might not be where you eat it and you say, oh, this tastes bad. It might not taste bad, it might actually taste good, but the chemical that it has become is now adverse in your body. So no for canned foods, no canned fruit.
So kidney beans and
kidney beans ain't good anyway. Even if they're not
beans, black eyed
pinto,
peas,
no beans.
high in estrogen?
Well, what they are, nitrogen. Beans are nitrogen fixators. They contain bacteria, and these bacteria are not good.
Carrots.
All right.
Women are going on carrot juice fasts.
Carrots are highly inflammatory. They're estrogenic as well. No, Bugs Bunny lied to the whole lot of us when I see it.
So what do you think about the myth of the, if you don't eat meat, you're not gonna get your fat, your protein, because meat is a dead animal, it's dead. So how is it giving you any nutrients? And how does meat, it harms the body because it doesn't fully digest. It doesn't.
Right, it doesn't digest. Our body don't know what to do with meat, so it gets stored as fat. And then it decomposes, and all the bacteria and the parasites. Every time you eat meat, you're filling your body with parasites.
So do you feel people have a fear, like when you tell them, okay, you have to stop eating meat, you have to stop the dairy and everything in order to heal, and people are like, well, they always might ask you, well, what about fish?
No, fish. What about fish is bad, and there's a growing number in the amount of people who have multiple sclerosis, and a lot of people with multiple sclerosis, they some of them say, I don't eat any meat, but I eat fish, because mercury is high in fishes. So the mercury demyelinates, right? Myelinate, right? Which is the myelin sheath that surrounds your nerves and your neurons, right? It demyelinates your nerves and your neurons, which causes multiple sclerosis. There are white blood cells also, because you'll find with 99.9% of the conditions that we as Black people suffer from, they are usually autoimmune or inflammatory. All of them are caused by white blood cells going on a rampage. They shouldn't be in our bodies, and they cause issues.
What causes yeast infections, even if say you have
sugar?
No, what I'm saying is you're vegan, you don't eat no sugars or anything, but you're still getting yeast infections. What could be the cause of that?
Because you putting in estrogen
so somewhere there's something.
Right.
So how important is it for them to read labels? Because what I've always done is, if it's the first two ingredients.
Well, you're not going. I mean, the thing is with labels, they don't never tell you. Yeah, estrogen.
No, but they're saying the first two ingredients that's on the label when you read the back of the box or anything is the main ingredient. So if it says water and high fructose, that's what your main ingredient.
Right, high fructose, corn syrup, things like. All right, so we got a whole bunch of vegans out there, and they, oh, I'm vegan, I'm raw, whatever, and then they're putting nutritional yeast. They're putting it onto all their salads. They're putting it into their, you know, the spicy popcorn and all this kind of stuff, and it's terrible. Nutritional yeast is an excitotoxin, but it is also, you know, it's yeast. It's yeast. And deactivated yeast means yeast that's been killed. So it's this living yeast that somebody's killed, and then the nutrients are then added to it, and then it's given to you. And then, oh, I'm raw, I don't eat no processed foods. Here's the nutritional yeast, and that nutritional yeast is not good, and it's an excitotoxin, high in glutamate, free glutamic acid. So look that up. Don't believe me.
So what about those people, like they want to do your program, they want to get into my program, but they live in a small rural area that don't have organic stores, nor they might not have a car. So how would, you know, they want to change your life, they have the money to buy the elixirs, but the food. So how can they do the plan?
I mean, the reality of living in 2016 is you need to have a car. There's certain things, you know, if you can't get about, then how do you get the foods that you do get? You see what I'm saying? You have to make it work, because knowledge of your body is true knowledge of self. You know, let me see this. My cousin has kidney failure, and she has 3 kidneys. She had 3 kidneys, not 2.
No, she had 3 kidney transplants.
Oh, 3 kidney transplants. All right. I'm like, what?
She's not from here. She's a god.
Have flushed her kidneys. What kind of that? All right. So the reason why, you know, you get people on things like dialysis and that kind of stuff, right, is because the blood is so bad, full of pollutants, that they have to, and the kidney has been degenerated through whatever foods you've been eating, and they have degenerated the kidney. So now you have, the blood has to be taken out clean and then put back in, right? This is something that the liver is supposed to deliver, what the kidney is supposed to carry out. So you have to detoxify the kidney and the liver, and provide the right minerals and nutrients that help to generate those tissues and organs, right? Provide proper nutrients to those cells. So we have a formula we have 2 formulas. One is for the kidney and liver, right? And the other one's for the digestive system. One is called Rigid Ease. Rigid Ease detoxes and regenerates the liver and the kidneys. And we have one called the Sweeper, which is for the digestive system, which includes also the kidney, all right? But it's what's being eaten that is keeping the kidney situation perpetuated. So we have to get in.
Oh, she said no. She has 3 kidneys in her, and she has hers, and her sisters gave her one too, and her body rejected. So they did some type of.
Wait, she has 3.
So you're saying that your sister like got a stackable, like it's connected to the other kidney? They never took the other kidney out?
She was born with 3 kidneys, is what you're saying. Not most people have 2 kidneys.
Oh, okay.
Your sister has 3.
I think she said her sister gave her kidney. One of them failed. I don't think they did a procedure probably where they.
Oh, so all right.
To connect or whatever, and she said they failed.
Well, the reason why there's a rejection is because the human leukocyte antigen, right? Again, to do with white blood cells, but all of us have a signature in our body, right, where we recognize our cells, our own internal cells. Anything that comes into the body that's foreign We have this thing, human leukocyte antigen, which detects you're not from here. All right, if you're not from here, we're sending a whole bunch of white blood cells, T cells, and whatever. We're going to attack and destroy, destroy cells. So that's what's going on when your body rejects something from somebody else. So, all right, she's just saying. So here's something to consider for all women who have like you get weave, and you get that weave from Asia, and it's nice and it's beautiful and it's long and flowing and all that. Hair is one of the places where if you want to recognize somebody's DNA through the hair, right? So the DNA of the hair that is weaved into the scalp, that has contact with the scalp. Oh, it was a kidney transplant. Okay. So the scalp is in contact with this weave, and a lot of women suffer from alopecia when they weave their hair for long, right? Because the DNA of the weave does not match your HLA, human leukocyte antigen. So there's what we call leukotrienes, which release chemicals on your scalp because what on your scalp is not being recognized, and then it causes alopecia, and you go bald patches and whatever.
So what about someone who has diabetes, is on a renal diet, and has a hemoglobin, and they go through dialysis, but they're gaining weight? Now, how dangerous really? They say dialysis helps someone, but I feel like it.
No, but I mean, somebody who, with all those conditions, what you just said, is that they've had a lifetime of adverse foods to their body. Yeah, as long as they're breathing, right, or you're alive, you can reverse your condition through proper diet. Now, you've got diet, supplementation, exercise, sun, and sleep, right? These are the 5 things, all right? Count them on my hand, 5, right? Correct diet, supplementation of that diet with supplements. What was the third one? I can't remember now. I lost myself. Well, I'm testing.
I'm giving now.
All right. Exercise, sun, and sleep. All right. So here's where the sun comes in. All right. So we have in our bodies cholesterol. Now, cholesterol gets a bad rap out there. Oh, too much cholesterol. Cholesterol leads to heart disease, leads to, high blood pressure and all this. No, cholesterol don't do that. Cholesterol is carried around your body in lipids. Either they are high density lipids or low density lipids, right? Now, what happens is this, is cholesterol in our bodies, which is needed. All our cells need cholesterol, right? Cholesterol is highly important. But another thing about cholesterol, which is very important, is when we get vitamin D3, right? Or sorry, when we get UVB, right? All right. So I can see you got long flowing hair there. The question is it yours? Right. Even though you paid for it, it might not be yours, right? So, all right, but let's stick to the subject.
I'm just saying, she mentioned it, so I just said.
All right, yeah. Of course, it can be cured. So we have to get in the sun. We've been taught, we've become under this culture of it's sunny outside, let me run inside and close the blinds and switch on the AC. So during the summer now it's nice and hot, and there's UVA, sun, ultraviolet A and ultraviolet B. Ultraviolet B is highly nutrient sun rays. This is the sun rays that are great for us. But unfortunately, depending on where you are in the country or where you are in the world, you only get, if you're not in the tropics, you only get a certain amount of UVB during the year, only lasts for a certain amount of months. And then during the day, you only get UVB from around 11 o'clock in the morning till around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right? So you have to get in the sun for UVB between 11 and 3, during the summer, right? Now, that UVB is then synthesized by your melanin and that into vitamin D. The cholesterol in your body is converted into vitamin D. Vitamin D isn't actually a vitamin, it's a hormone, right? And it is very vital that this particular vitamin D inhibits all kinds of things like cancer. It's antibacterial, it's antiviral, and it helps to regenerate and replenish damaged cells. All right. So the cholesterol in your body is used to produce vitamin D in your body. So all these people who are on statin drugs to help, oh, you got high blood pressure, let's get rid of the cholesterol. That's not the root cause, right? White blood cells play a part. Plaque and mucus is from white blood cells. This is what's causing the problem. Bad diet. It's not the cholesterol. So the cholesterol is good for vitamin D. Vitamin D now supplies, like overnight when you're sleeping, vitamin D is released with melatonin, and it replenishes and repairs damaged organs or whatever. All right, so it's highly important that you get sun, UVBs. UVA causes wrinkles, right? So those of you who are aging, you know, who look, you know, you're 35 but you look 60 and stuff, right? Because you're not getting enough UVB, you're getting too much UVA, or you're not getting enough sun at all.
So when is the best time for those to actually go out and do sun gazing? Because a lot of people think, I can't sit in the sun, it causes cancer, and you know, even our people think the sun is really bad.
All right, so sunblock is actually what causes skin cancer, the actual sunblock. And if you're black, you ain't supposed to have any sunblock on anyway. And if they say, oh, well, I'm peeling and stuff like that, it's because you've got a bad diet while you're peeling. But improve your diet, but put on coconut oil, right? Anything, do not use petrochemicals on your skin. Because a lot of us grew up using Vaseline, right? Vaseline wasn't just for promiscuous or perverted men. Vaseline, some of us had actually used that, especially if you're from the islands, right? You know about Vaseline. It's petrochemical, terrible.
I know about
things like cocoa butter, like Red Fox's cocoa butter. Sorry, Red Fox, but your cocoa butter was full of petrochemicals, which is high in estrogen, again causing issues, right? Causes skin clog. So if you can't eat it, don't put it on your skin. So coconut oil is excellent. Organic virgin coconut oil or organic hemp seed oil. Great. Anybody you know who's suffering from any kind of skin cancer, melanoma, right? You might have a European friend, they got hemp oil. Correct their diet, hemp oil, knock that out. Eczema, excellent for it, right? Psoriasis, hemp oil or coconut oil, you know, and get into the sun, because the sun heals. The sun's rays actually heal you, all right? So alopecia, you put, you know, this coconut oil, hemp seed oil, lemon, squeeze some lemon to where anywhere where you have patches. The lemon brings oxygen, you know, and is antibacterial. So
actually too, sage, if you like boil sage and rosemary and thyme together, he's trying to act like he accepts me. But I do that for my locks, ladies. You know what I'm saying? So all my locks sisters out there. But we use that as a rinse. It actually stimulates, but it actually makes the follicles in your hair grow faster.
And this is the thing. See, she said rosemary and thyme, right? Cook with these things, put them in your food, because when you're ingesting it, it's getting, you know, the chemicals that are in rosemary, in particular, are very good for you know, repairing and getting rid of leukotrienes.
Like people who have strokes, like there was the young lady that was on here, she's very young, and she had 3 strokes, and she's vegetarian, and she has fibroids, and you know, her memory loss is gone, so she wanted to know.
Has her memory loss gone or memory
like
gone?
She has not memory where she can't think, but I'm saying like, no, she's having short-term memory loss.
Right.
So
all right,
you know, I gotta say like all this stretch out thing to him. I'm gonna keep it real out here.
She said the memory loss is gone.
This is a crazy round table.
All right. So, anyways, all right. Again, all right. When you're dealing with things like memory loss, you're dealing with neural issues, dealing with something going off, amiss in your actual brain. All right. So neurological diseases are caused by these white blood cells. All right. Also by toxins. There's chemicals. There's free glutamic acids. There's ROS, which is radio oxidative species, which is these creatures, right, which get into your body, these microbes, pathogens, and then the white blood cells now go to try to do whatever they will. So there's a chemical balance that you have to keep. Certain chemicals like glutamic acids shouldn't be free inside the brain. It causes all kinds of issues. Monosodium glutamate, MSG, which is in a lot of foods, and it's disguised under things like natural flavors, right? Hydrolyzed this and hydrolyzed that, all kinds of stuff are excitotoxins, and they're degenerative. They work and they cause, especially with young children, what's so bad is that it causes learning deficiencies, all right? Learning deficiencies and behavioral problems.
A lot of them think though when mother is pregnant, but I feel like because of her diet,
right,
child to have learning disabilities.
There you go. Because from 0 to 3 years old, right? Those are the most sensitive years for a developing child. The most sensitive. You can even push that to 0 to 6, 0 to 7. Very sensitive times that what foods that child is eating is going to impact the rest of that child's life, and as far as how well their brain works. These are the neurological years of development for all humans, is from 0 to 6, 7. Very important that you
I have a friend and her daughter continues to get headaches, and she's taking her to doctors after doctors, and they can't find out why she's having headaches. So she's not obese or anything like that. She's a young lady, and they do eat good. They do eat well, but her daughter has massive migraine headaches. They're excruciating migraines. Where do you think that stems from, though?
Again, there's something in the food that is causing a chemical reaction, and it might be causing neurological damage. Well, it definitely is. Headaches are whenever you have a headache, it's a serious situation, but it's become a normal situation to us because, all right, you got a headache, and all right, you go down to a pharmacist somewhere and you buy some Motrin or something like that, and that's going to sort it out. No, all it does is just cuts off the communication to the nerves, but don't get rid of the root cause. So very dangerous. The what's become a normal a normal habit in our society, which is headache equals headache tablet, get rid of that and you'll be all right in the morning. No, there's a reason why. It could be it could be hypoglycemic. It could be under not enough fluids. You're dehydrated or whatever. But taking a headache tablet is just cutting off your communication, the electrical communication.
What about dealing with migraines, extreme temperatures, hot and cold, and excretion bring on
Right, stress.
Yeah.
Things like stress, cortisol, things from adrenaline, things in your body, chemicals, they become out of whack. There's a chemical imbalance, and that in itself, your blood carries these chemicals and it goes through to your brain. Now you got an issue, so stress is another factor, and diabetes is another thing where, it can also, insulin resistance, they call it, where your body is not accepting insulin, and then the glucose is not being accepted into your cells, and then cortisol is released to lower the blood sugar, and then that cortisol in itself is causing issues because it's a stress hormone, so it causes issues. So, diabetes as well is also an autoimmune disease. White blood cells, in particular TNF alpha, is the culprit, responsible for insulin not being able to deliver the glucose into the cell.
So she's saying mix it all together. Remember you said about the lemon seasoning? When should I add the lemon?
All right, so you can just squeeze lemon into your hand, or if you want to squeeze it to wherever, you can have it squeeze a puddle into your hand, take it and dab it wherever you have the patches, and you can rosemary, and that you can boil rosemary with thyme and sage, and drink it down, or you just make sure you season your food with it. You can actually make an oil with it. Emmy makes with House of Vegannatti, she has serums for that, where they're for your scalp and for your skin, where they're very powerful.
So what about the myth about people saying, well, once you lose weight, if I lose weight, your diabetes changes or your high blood pressure changes, but they still feel that they still have to take their medication?
All right.
Will it ever, they have to completely stop it in order for it to be depleted?
The medication is not, so one of the things that they do with diabetes is they give you insulin or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we need to get away from all of that. Your body wants to repair itself.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to get rid of the white blood cells that are causing, in particular, the TNF alpha. We have to get rid of that.
But if you have
that's what's causing
massive heart
we
issue,
have to, if you have where your pancreas is not working anymore, we now have to get your pancreas to produce beta cells, so that your pancreas starts operating again and producing insulin at a normal rate. It's all about balance. It's all about getting things back to the correct rate. But fat doesn't cause diabetes. White blood cells cause diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
The white blood cells, all right, so here's how it works. So with white blood cells, stop the insulin from bringing glucose into the cell, because TNF alpha destroys what we call glucose transport 4, GLUT4, which is in each cell, which when insulin is bringing in, because glucose isn't there to get rid of blood out of your thing. Glucose is there to say, okay, glucose, I'm going to put you into this cell. It's like a mailman putting a delivery into a mailbox, right? And your cell has its mailbox, and that mailbox is basically GLUT4 saying, okay, thank you. We're going to bring this in, into this mailbox, into the house or whatever, right? What TNF alpha does, it destroys GLUT4. So basically, you ain't got a mailbox. Mm-hmm. So the mail or the glucose cannot be delivered into the cell. So what happens is, now you got sugar or glucose in the blood. The blood sugar level cannot go above a certain amount, else you're gonna die. So, all right, quickly, let's store this as fat. Get it out of the blood. It's gonna be stored as fat. So that's where the fat comes from, right? So TNF alpha also, so when it's stored as fat, it's stored as triglycerides, lipids, whatever. They are energy stores, right? So when the muscles need glucose or energy, it will go, if you're not eating anything, it goes to these stores, says, all right, take from that. What TNF alpha does, it stops that process from happening, where that fat now is available for energy source, right? It destroys that. So the fat just stays there, cannot now release that glucose. So the fat, and especially around the waist where you have enough place to expand, the fat goes there, goes in the legs, goes in the buttocks or whatever, and it just grows. From that fat comes more white blood cells and estrogen. You see? So you become more insulin resistant, and it's not because you're fat first. It's because your diet was terrible first, and you had these TNF alpha lurking around the body through your diet. All right. So it's like what we call negative feedback. It produces fat, and then the fat produces more of it, and then it produces more fat, and then the fat produces more of it. So it just keeps on going around.
So what about I wanted to ask you about a lot of people want to use nutritional yeast, they want to use the Bragg's amino acids.
No, Bragg is the enemy. Bragg is the enemy. Sue me, Bragg, if you want, but I will prove that you're the enemy in a court of law. So you have things like aminos, you know, and it's all fermented this and fermentation is where something goes bad and the bacteria, or it goes dated and the bacteria causes fermentation and it changes the chemical makeup of a thing, right? So all these liquid aminos and these things here, they're all fermented. All things like apple cider vinegar and those things, it's all through fermentation, which is sporulation, you know, of these bacteria, which inside your body, it causes wreaks all kinds of havoc. Apple cider vinegar is one of those substances which, yes, it can help to get rid of something bad in you, but it in itself is a napalm. All right. It's like garlic. Garlic. Oh, if you got a cold, take some garlic. Garlic is okay, right? It's highly acidic. Highly acidic. Garlic burns holes in your intestines, right? So garlic isn't something that you should use to season your food. If you have a life-threatening condition, if your blood pressure is through the roof and you want to immediate and garlic's the only thing there, all right, take the garlic. All right, but very short times. Exactly. There you go. So the whole old wives' tale about garlic is because, yeah, it does have properties that can, you know, get rid of parasites, for instance. It can get rid of parasites. But again, it's gonna go in and shoot up the whole place. It's you know, it's one of them buck wild gangsters with a Tommy gun and just shut up the whole place. Yeah, I got the guy, but you look around, there's you know, there's collateral damage, you know. Right. So again, we want a hitman. Cayenne pepper is the hitman, the clinical finisher. You know, I'm gonna go in, take out what's bad.
So you know, even though like with mushrooms, don't
so I'm saying.
So like with mushrooms, like mushrooms are fermented, but people want to keep eating them. But from what I understand,
well, mushrooms are fungus.
Yeah, but it has a toxin in it, and even though you can boil it for 10, 15 minutes, it still runs into your food and it's in the air. Same thing, like you said, if you heat up your olive oil too high, the radicals, it's a toxin, and you're inhaling that. So it really doesn't matter if you boil the mushrooms or not. You know, too many raw mushrooms is not good for you.
Well, mushrooms are not good for you, period. But again, certain mushrooms, depending on what tree they grew on, right? There's some mushrooms that can help cancer. But mushrooms being fungus is that fungus creates an environment.
So it's not good if you have fibroids or anything to eat mushrooms, or if you're cancerous.
No, but I mean, there's people who will swear by mushrooms and say, all right, mushrooms can do this. Right, there are mushrooms that can help with an ailment, but again, mushrooms set up an environment, and that environment is not a good environment. It might get rid of, you know, if I have a bacteria in my throat, I can drink some acid. It will take the bacteria out, but it'll also put a hole in my throat. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, there are funguses or
You said what about B12 vitamin pills?
No, they're all bad.
Because of what
all right, now this is the thing with vitamins now, right? So we eat foods with nutrients and minerals, and then our liver and our kidneys and the supporting, you know, spleen, pancreas, and the gallbladder, we produce bile, and we produce vitamins to be. Vitamin is like a waste product or a byproduct of the liver, So we eat nutrients and minerals, and then the liver does its job and it produces these vitamins into the blood to be taken around. So when you take a vitamin, first of all, how was that vitamin derived? Where was it made? What was it made from? You see what I'm saying? And a lot of the time, they're not in a way in which your body can even absorb them correctly. You know, because again, they're waste. So a lot of the time with vitamin tablets, you're taking in the vitamin, and majority of it is not being absorbed by the body. You're basically urinating it out, and not good.
Right. So even though people have, like, they do detoxes, and now before you came, I was talking about how people religiously go and do a detox and for God and everything like that, but then they go back and eat processed foods or go back to eating meat. So they're depleting
Right,
the purpose.
it's a waste of time.
It's a waste of time.
If you do a detox and then you go back to the stuff that you were doing before, you are basically idly doing what you're doing, because you're putting your body through a physical and an emotional roller coaster. All
so
right,
I am going to bring up a topic that I did ask of the young lady when I asked her, and like I said, I'm a spiritual person. He's a spiritual person. You know, enlightenment. Food is part of your enlightenment, and you know, to enhance your vibrations, however you want to walk in your journey. But like I asked someone, you bless your food, you know, and that's like a big topic for me, because, and I know it probably might bring issues, but this is something that you might need to think about. And it's not going against your higher power, but if you're blessing the food and you're saying, as long as I bless my food is good, then my question to you is, why do you still have diabetes? And why do you have high blood pressure? And if you're blessing your food. So that's something that I brought up, that I'm going to bring up more and more every day, just to trigger your mind, because she came back and asked me, yeah, why is that? Why am I? And I'm not telling you to reject your God, but you need to understand that your God gave you the cure in your hands. He gave you the healing hands, your healing hands. You are the gun, and you have to pull that trigger the proper way. And that's what I'm about awakening you to see that. And that's not disrespecting your God. It's about walking the way God showed that he walked. And you know, the Daniel fast, and when even Daniel didn't even want meat in the Bible. But I think a lot of you guys out here give excuses because it's a habit. It's an addiction. Just like a drug addict takes crack or heroin, you're addicted to your food with meat because it's a pleasure to you. You're hiding behind your meat. And it's a disorder. Obesity is a disorder. All these things are a disease, but it's a distress that's in your life that you need to take off. But you say you want to be free of all this stuff, but then your second mind always comes in and goes, oh, maybe next time, because you feel alone in it. But I'm just here to tell you, this is your day. This is the first episode of the Round Table, and this is your day to either take what you're getting from Dr. Amsu, you know, follow up with him, follow up with me, and change your life today, or stop whining about it. No one wants to hear about it anymore. No one wants to hear about your aches and your pains and how you're overweight and how you have arthritis and everything, because no more playing victim. Either you're going to be the conqueror of your life, or you're just going to continue to walk like you're thinking you're awake, but you're walking dead.
See, the problem with this society, the way how this culture is set up, is that, all right, you have a condition, you have a problem, and then, you know, here's a pill that you take that helps you to manage the problem. So we accept that we have a disease. We accept it because, oh, there's a pill for that. You know, I can get by. So somebody with diabetes is thinking, well, I got medication for diabetes, so I can live with. So you have all these things, living with HIV, living with diabetes, living with multiple sclerosis, living with lupus. And it's like, we haven't found a cure yet, which is a lie, because, you know, us people who don't have multi-billions of dollars in resources to research stuff, if we know the cures, if we know how to reverse all these conditions, all these big pharmaceutical companies that are out there that are selling you these pharmaceutical medications, don't you think they would know it too? You know, what they have to do, oh, this guy over here, he's got the cure. All right, let's hire him for 5 weeks. You know, but they already know. But there's too much money to be made by keeping you in the condition you're in and just keeping you alive. Let's keep you alive. Oh, we lost one. All right, no worries. We got another one over here. Keep them going. You know, either you're going to go into surgery or you're just going to take medication for the rest of your life. Keep on re-upping on these medications. And the medications are so expensive, you know. So pharmaceutical industry is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. You know, it's huge. You know, so my thing is, if I ever wake up with a condition, I'm gonna be like, I'm getting rid of the condition. I ain't trying to live with it. I'm gonna get rid of it. How do I get rid of it? I don't want to hear how I can treat it and be good, doc. Tell me how to get rid of it. How is it? Do you know? All right, you're fired. Let me go to somebody else. You know, you got to fire some people. If your doctor is telling you, we don't know the cause of, you're fired. I heard somebody does know the cure of it. So guess what, doc? You're fired. So this one,
she wants to know, the last question was, why is it that we can't take baths and redefine sea salt?
And redefine sea salt.
Like, you know, some of the salts that's out here do cause issues with the body. And I guess redefine, it's supposed to be like organic sea salt, but it isn't really. And I think it's because I think a lot of the sea salt that we salt baths, it like dehydrates your skin. You know, anything that you put on your skin, like perfume lotions and things like that, it goes into your skin, just like perms. Like, when Black women should not put perms in their hair. It actually,
I mean, if you're taking a bath in salts, right? Salts are minerals, and if you want, you know, it depends on what salt it is.
Right.
You know, salt is a very loose term. So even with like high blood pressure and that, sodium is getting a bad rap because there's a difference between sodium and salt. You know, because table salt, for instance, is full of sand and it corrodes the arteries and it causes scrapings and lesions on arteries. And then, you know, you get white blood cells turn up because there's damage, and they, you know, in case there's any bacteria that's trying to get in there, then you get cholesterol, which tries to repair, because cholesterol tries to do repair. So cholesterol goes in there. Then you got macrophages, right, which go there, and then they create, you know, they become foam cells, and then they harden. That becomes plaque, and it, you know, hardens, and then your blood vessels become narrow. And that. But going back to the salts, you know, for the bath, depends on what salt you get, and depends on what condition you got. Why are you putting salt into the bath? What is the purpose? So if you have a purpose and you have the correct type of salt, then maybe yes, it might be therapeutic for you to use it, right? Epsom salts and whatever. But it's not something that, you know, oh, I have to have a bath with salt. It's like, all right, what's the purpose? You know, there's always a purpose for everything.
Now, for those who want to get into exercising, and I know you don't want to do like strenuous exercising, where can they purchase your Qigong toxification?
All right, so on fibroidelimination.com, fibroid, Fibroid elimination, elimination. You see how I spelled that?
Then you gotta spell.
Fibroidelimination.com. All right, there's a shop. You click on the shop, and then there's books. You can look under the books. You'll see Qigong reproductive, because the reason why we have it on reproductive, that's dealing with the endocrine system. Because Qigong is for about your meridian system, but where a lot of our issues is in the reproductive organs. So we have reproductive Qigong. It does cover a lot of the meridians, right? But it's breathing exercise. It's about unblocking meridians. And by unblocking those meridians, it allows those organs to function correctly. All right. But again, if you have fat on your body, you need to do calisthenics and weight training, resistant training. You have to do squats, Squats are very important. You have to do press ups. You have to do pull ups. You need to do stuff which are going to turn fat into muscle. All right. When you where you have developing muscle, tumor cannot exist. Your muscle is going to pull from the tumor. Either you have muscle that you're developing that have use that is electromagnetic, or you have things like fibrous muscle, which is muscle growth where it ain't supposed to be. But when you're developing muscles, those muscles and energy is going to pull from those other unwanted sources for energy. All right. So there's something called ketosis where you utilize fat and unwanted tissue to feed and energize other cells. Okay. So which is why fasting is good.
So I know we're like going towards our last minutes. I do want to, the next episode, we are going to talk about the myth of HIV. And also I would like to get into about how important CMOS is, you know, for the body. A lot of people don't know about CMOS and how it's good.
CMOS or Irish moss is excellent source of all kinds of minerals and nutrients. It's excellent. So do some research and then you come with your questions about that, you know.
Yeah, so that would be on the next one. So one more question. So what made you, and I can't, you know, Dr. Moon's not here, but what made you change your eating habits for your life? And why are you doing what you're doing now? Not only do I know you like to teach and, you know, that's your nature, but what really made you want to walk the way you're walking now?
I mean, it's a journey of trying to basically, we're supposed to live a long lives, and it's about having good quality, the best quality of life. So it's about having the best in everything. So, you know, I walked a spiritual path, trying to become enlightened and everything like that. And, you know, I found that true knowledge of self is knowing your actual physical body. And when, you know, through my journeys in, you know, studying the mystic, the ancient mystic path, is that everything was about your spiritual, you know, energy matter. Energy matter, spirit is a part of energy, and it's part of matter, which is the physical body. So in order to, and your mitochondria is actually you could say your spirit. You know, when your mitochondria is spinning at its highest potential, you are on cloud nine, literally. You can't get sick, and your energy level, you know, why do people want to get high? What's that term high come from? That level, that being high is that your spirits are high. Your spirits are high when your mitochondria is spinning. All the cells in your body, the mitochondria are spinning at their highest. When you sleep, that's when you become most vulnerable, because the mitochondria slows down somewhat while the cells are being repaired, right? To allow nutrients and minerals in it. But while we're awake, it's supposed to be firing. So all things like aging is a disease. All aging is that your cells are dying faster than they're being replenished. So if you always are producing fresh cells faster than they're dying, you never get old. You will never, you know, you'll never age. Most of us, unfortunately, you know, we go through, which is why children need guidance of parents, because if you leave children to their own devices, they're going to eat garbage and they're going to damage themselves, and they're going to, you know, set themselves up for all kinds of ailments and diseases as they get older. So they need guidance on, no, you can't eat that. They need to be restricted, regulated. Don't eat that. Don't eat it. But when you get, we have to,
like people, if they go into like, even like some of my clients who go, oh man, I don't know if I can do this because, man, and I always tell them that this is just a fight. Like you have to fight, you have to be disciplined. But a lot of people, like children, like that has been secluded in their life, end up doing what their parents didn't want them to do. So how do you keep that instilled in them where they know it's
I mean,
value?
the thing is, and that's the whole thing about culture, it's having a value system, because there's a natural rebelliousness that's in all of us, and it's called experimentation. We reach to a point where we want to discover for ourselves, and that's the ages where where we're more likely to start smoking a little, may snort a little, may even shoot a little. You see what I'm saying? Because I want to know what it's like, I want to experience it. So that experimentation is the most vulnerable and most dangerous time, and it's usually around the teenage times. And we know that when we were at a certain age, we were wilding out and doing whatever. And when we reach to an age of maturity now, most of us are jacked up, because while we were experimenting, we did so much dirt and foolishness, did so much shit to ourselves that we're basically jacked up. It's like, man, it's hard to repair it, or we're so far gone. And then you have those who still want to wild out when they get older, because they haven't yet, because of neural degeneration, because they messed up their chemical balance, that they're still trying to be teenagers. You're 50. You're trying to get into no skinny jeans. You're 50 years old, man. Leave that alone. You're in the club of teenagers and whatnot, and you're 50 years old. No, you're supposed to mature. And it's when we reach our age of maturity, we start to care more. We learn the lessons, like, if only I listened to my mum, or to my uncle, or to my grandparents, or whoever raised you. Now I see it. Now I see. So the thing is like, my whole thing is, all right, we don't want to be decrepit at the time. And now we see, we want to be wise, but still young, where we have the physical, there are a lot of elders out there. All right, we leave all the energetic stuff to the youngsters. No, you're supposed to be energetic, even when you're old, or when your age, your number is high, because your body is still rejuvenating and replenishing faster than the cells are dying, Right.
So what do you think about, I mean, I know HIV is a big, talk. And, I know a lot of people out here just free flying, going everywhere, and they think that, they can't get rid of STDs and they can't get rid of things of that nature. What is your view on HIV, even though I know your view? But, for those who don't know that HIV can be cured, not, they think it's, I have to take medicine for the rest of my life.
No.
And this is it for me.
I mean, this is the thing, and it's a psychological thing. People who suffer with HIV, they ain't trying to hear somebody say, "Oh, it's not HIV, that ain't gonna kill you." Somebody tell you, you've been taught, and the government has said it, and all these experts have told you, HIV gonna turn into AIDS, and then your immune system is gonna go down, and you will die. So somebody who is diagnosed with HIV don't want to hear it ain't real. They ain't trying to hear that.
Right.
So all right. So here's what we do. All right, we're going to get rid of the HIV. We're gonna kill the HIV. We're gonna get the bacteria, or the virus, out of your body. How about that? So for instance, Waka Flocka's auntie, she the reason why I can say this is because we've got permission to say it. Is that she came down from New York City, and she came and saw us. I think it was February or March. Waka flew her down, and we went to see her, and she said, "Oh, we got this," and we said, "All right, we're not going to tell her that HIV ain't going to kill you. We're not going to tell you that HIV is not sexually transmitted, a sexual transmitted disease. We didn't do any of that. We just said, okay, no problem. We're going to get rid of it." What do you mean you're going to get rid of it? Yeah, we're going to. But I thought HIV is uncurable. No, we're going to get rid of it. Don't worry. So we put her onto a meal plan, a dietary plan, elimination meal plan for her to do, and she was supposed to fast and do that kind of stuff. Now, she's another person who's married to her food, so 5 days in her fast or her new dietary plan, she went off the rails and just backslid right back into her bad eating habits and all that. But she kept on taking our herbal supplements, our elixirs that eliminate the virus and that. So we gave her essence of fertility, lymphatics, phoenix, and rigides. Right, all of these can be found on fibroidelimination.com. Right, we gave her those 4, and she took those 4, and 60 days, within 60 days, should I say, within 60 days, she went for a checkup, and her HIV was undetectable. They said, you don't have HIV, we can't find it, it's undetectable. So we don't know what you've been doing, but it's gone. So she was all ecstatic, crying, and can't believe you guys. And she actually didn't follow our meal plan. She actually did it eating garbage. She was eating all kinds of meat, rib back, this, that, and the other.
Doesn't mean you do that.
Right? But it got rid of her HIV anyway.
Now,
and we
saying
told
that,
her, we
knowing
told
that
you.
she didn't really go on a regimen, she wanted to still do it behind. Now, for those of you who heard that, you believe that body types are different.
I mean,
like if another body type, like
I mean, what it is
her
that
weight
our formulas will get rid of the HIV because, you know, it's working at the molecular level. You know, these are all liquid and it's under the tongue, so you don't drink it with a tea or whatever. It's under the tongue, so it goes straight into the bloodstream. That way, it bypasses the alimentary tract, so it's straight in the blood. So these minerals and nutrients are straight into the blood. They're going to be carried to wherever they're needed, and they're going to do their job, right? Whatever's in the blood, whatever virus is in the blood, it's going to start taking it out, right? Without damaging, you know, the blood, while giving the blood more source of minerals and, you know, iron and copper and whatever, right? So it does its job. But when you eat bad, the blood is going to be filled with other microbes or pathogens or whatever, which make it harder, which basically impede how fast it's going to do it. But with her, whatever, and you know, she's overweight. In fact, she actually gained like around 30-40 pounds within the time.
Because you lose weight,
right? She gained weight rather than lose weight because she
eating the meat.
You know, some people when they're feeling depressed, they're gonna eat a lot because food has become a comfort thing, right? So, but HIV went.
But see, the thing about it is that, you know, I talk and say that, you know, the meat feeds the disease, but in her way, the disease was, you know, that's
because of the formulas, because our herbal formulas, it went to work.
Yeah,
you know,
went to work. But see, for other people though, like if you have cancer and you're still eating the stuff,
right? It's
do that.
It's what we call it's anti-reactive. It's anti-responsive. It goes against.
Right.
You know, it's counterproductive. You've got something to get rid of something, but you're still feeding it at the same time.
So is it okay for someone to have cancer and then go back and eat meat? Because meat does feed
No, because all right, check this out. So all of our bodies have an intrinsic value. We have intrinsic strength and intrinsic weaknesses. We have a distribution system of when we have minerals, how those minerals, we all have unique systems of distribution. So basically we have minerals, and those minerals are distributed around our body according to their priority that our body gives them. Our unique body gives us priority. All the minerals and nutrients gives it its priorities. So, right, when there's a deficiency in minerals and nutrients, our bodies will prioritize, well, this is going to go to the lungs. You know, this is going to go to the respiratory system. This is going to go to the central nervous system. It's going to go to whichever system, reproductive, you know, it's going to go to, you know, your heart, whatever. You know, we're going to keep that out. Whereas, all right, we're not in a deficient, the eyes ain't going to get anything.
Right.
The liver ain't gonna get anything. The kidneys ain't gonna get anything. So your body has weaknesses where when there's a deficiency of minerals and nutrients, your body will break down in certain areas first. So that's where somebody might have cancer or whatever. So when you're eating foods, and with those foods come bacteria and virus and toxins or whatever, they're gonna be able to, and this is how bacteria and parasites work. They go wherever they are most comfortable, where they're not bothered. And they're gonna go where you have the lowest charge in your body, where your body doesn't give nutrients to, where they can set up shop, set up their haven and do what they do. So we can get rid of your cancer and you stop eating certain foods and we get rid of it, right? But then you go back to eating the garbage again. Your body's going to still, your DNA is going to work. Your body's going to work in the way how it's supposed to work. So if you eat garbage, you're going to go back to where your body defaults, where I'm not getting my mineral distribution is still the same. So I'm putting in toxins and parasites and virus or whatever.
So will that
they're going to set up
back?
shop. Yeah.
Because that's the same thing as somebody losing fibroids or
if you go back to
endometriosis, and then they go back to eating the same way, and will come back.
It's a lifestyle change. It's a lifestyle change. And lifestyle is culture, and that's the thing. We, naturally as Black people, we come from a culture of not eating meat. That's something. Meat, either there was a famine or circumstance why we turned to meat, or it could be people of other cultures and we mixed with those other cultures who were eating blood and meat. We weren't ever supposed to do that. So
now for women that are Caucasian and they go through the same thing, would they, once they get rid of it, will it come back on them?
Of course.
It's the same.
It's the same for everybody.
I really think you should do like my diet should go off. I heard about my diet that goes off of blood type or my weight or my size, and that's a myth, right? So, but what about, okay, you get rid of the cancer, so it's really, if you go back and eat the same foods that caused that cancer, you're going to get it again.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
So after the elimination, right, so then they need to know, okay, should they still take the supplements for the rest of their life, or should they?
Supplementation, right, is something that we all need all the time, because the minerals in the soil are depleting. So the foods that we would normally just eat, and that's why in our cultures, the foods that we spice, the spices that we use to flavor our foods are actually the minerals that our body needs for supplementation. So spices are actually supplementation of minerals that we need. But the problem is some of those, our tongues are not, it's an acquired taste. So some of the stuff that we would put on our food right now in the Western culture, we've never tasted them before. And when we do taste it, it's like, I don't need that. So, all right, I'll cook my food, and there's certain seasonings I can use that taste good, which are on the good list, but I'll just supplement with that stuff, put it under the tongue, I'm not gonna be tasting that with my food, because that's how I am. I like food to taste good. So there are some minerals or some some herbs and that they're disgusting. They taste disgusting.
That's really good for
but it's really good for you.
So somebody just asked about toothpaste and the fluoride. The best thing that I can tell you, I made toothpaste. You can get, the stevia, and put a little bit in there to make it have flavor. Get some mint oil, and put like organic mint oil in a little bit, and you're going to use arrowroot and 2 tablespoons of arrowroot, and then a tablespoon of baking soda, and you just put in a BPA free, no plastic. Try to get a glass jar and put that in there, and that's your toothpaste, and that's really good for you. The baking soda and the arrowroot, mint oil, organic mint oil, and your little bit of stevia, because it's going to be bitter. But yeah, fluoride, we already have fluoride in our body, right? So
no,
much
fluoride is bad. It's a toxin, so avoid it.
Right.
Avoid it.
So
that's why if you swallow toothpaste, they say you need a stomach pump, really and truly. So back in the day, there were people who would actually just didn't brush their teeth and just swallow the toothpaste.
right.
Very bad.
What is the proper way of like the times to eat? Because everybody lives different lifestyles, and some work overtime or work late at night and things of that nature. So to you, in your opinion, what is the proper times, and how long should they wait to drink liquid after they eat a meal? Should they sip on liquid while they're eating? From what I heard, that is not good. You should wait an hour and a half or something after you eat to drink liquid because it needs to be properly digested in the system.
No.
Well, I'm just saying, that's what I heard. So look at his face. You know what?
I mean,
don't get him twisted. You know, this doctor thing just big head. Anyway,
no, what it is this is that your body has a natural clock. It's called a circadian rhythm. So there's the appropriation cycle, assimilation cycle, and then elimination cycle. So the appropriation cycle is when we eat, where we're supposed to be taking in all the foods and the minerals and nutrients that our body needs, right? Assimilation is when it's being utilized, it's being assigned to regenerate, replenish, to get rid of negativity and put in, build us up. Everything's about anabolism, building up. So the appropriation cycle is between like 12 o'clock in the afternoon until 8 p.m. Some people say it's 11 until 7, So it's like.
So if you work late at night, like a midnight shift, you shouldn't eat at all, or should you just have like a smoothie or something?
I mean, all right. So there's foods that, like fruits, you can eat fruits any time of the day because they're like
certain fruits. Though.
Certain like fruits. The fruits that are on the good eat list that Emmy can send out to you guys, right? But these are things that you can eat any time of the day because they don't require much digestion. Fruits have their own enzymes which break them down
right
in your mouth, and then because their fruits are made up of a lot of glucose, sugars, which are what our cells need. They don't need that much digestion. Right. So it's the heavier foods, the minerals that are harder to break down, like iron is harder to break down, calcium is harder to break down, proteins are harder to break down. So these need digestion. So that these foods are supposed to be eaten during the appropriation cycle, while our bodies have energy to break down foods, to digest, and the hydrochloric acid does its work. So that's between 11 in the morning till around 8 at night, right? Then there's the assimilation cycle, where our body is now, the kidney is doing its job and it's backing, back up, guys. That's where it's assigning, it's gotten rid of the toxins and that, right? Or it's metabolized toxins and that, and it's now assigning all the minerals and nutrients to whichever organs and cells need rejuvenation, need replacing, muscles and whatever. And then you have the elimination side. So that's from around 8 o'clock in the evening till 4 o'clock in the morning. So basically while we're sleeping,
right,
this is when the body is doing its assimilation. That's when the melatonin cycle, when it's dark out, right? Melatonin cycle. So when it's dark, that's where the pituitary gland or pineal gland, that's when it will produce melanin, right? Melatonin. Melatonin is what's used to help the regeneration cycle, the building up, the anabolism, right? And it happens at best when we are in slow wave sleep, right? Slow wave. This is when rapid eye movement, when we're paralyzed, sleep paralysis, when we are still, when we're at our most still. That's when our body is at its height in regeneration and rejuvenation, replenishment. It's when if we have any sickness and whatever, this is when our body's really going to work to get rid of whatever, you know, and rebuilding anything that's damaged, right? So that's why when you're on a night shift, your body is not repairing itself properly, because the melatonin cycle is at its best when you're in sleep paralysis, right? And it's in pitch black where the melatonin is produced to do its job, and the vitamin D also helps that, you know. So then from around 4 in the morning till midday, that's elimination cycle. You know, that's, you know, we're getting rid of gases, we're getting rid of fluids, you know, urination, defecation, and that we're getting rid of waste, all the waste in our body.
A lot of people can't have bowel movements, so I've had people come to me and say I have issues with bowel
because they're not eating correctly,
or saying like my kidney and the pills that I'm taking.
Because they're taking pills.
Yeah.
But you see, that's the thing, is about when you know how your body is supposed to behave, it's like, all right, my body's not behaving like that. Or is there something wrong with me? Yes, there's something wrong with you. And it's because you're not eating correctly. So we have to get that correct again, so that your body is functioning correctly. So there are many things that can throw off your sleep patterns. You know, again, everything's chemical. So there's the natural clock on when chemicals are released, you know, hormones and peptides, when they are released, when they're not released, you know, when they're not being distributed. And all these are cycles within cycles that we're supposed to be following. So our culture is supposed to, you know, be the environment or the construct upon which what's natural can occur. So if, you know, night shifts aren't supposed to happen, you should not be on no night shifts. Everything should be, if there's something going on, automation. If it goes down, it goes down.
So working a night shift actually just changes. I mean, it does change the system, your sleep.
It changes the sleep pattern and messes up your melatonin, serotonin cycle. So you got people that overly have too much serotonin in their blood, which causes all kinds of it, because they're not sleeping correctly. You know, when we go out on the weekend and we go out and we're partying all night, that can throw us into disarray. You know, jet lag is, you know, you move from one time zone to another. Now your body has to make the adjustment to the sun. The sun is here for a reason. You know, it's the governor of how we're supposed to live our lives.
Now we've talked about women, and I'm disrespecting my sisters and all my ladies out there. But what about the men with the renal dysfunction, or, you know, any issues like prostate cancer? Men go through things too. So their diet is very important.
Right, and
so is
estrogen,
the diet different from women?
No.
Okay.
You know, men suffer from estrogen dominance too, and it comes out through balding. You know, they get alopecia too. They get hair balding. They get prostate issues. They become diabetic, and it's because of estrogen too, right? So prostate cancer, which is a growing thing among Black men, is becoming a pandemic too, because the aromatase or estrogen is converting testosterone into dehydrotestosterone, which is a dangerous form of testosterone, but it's a mutated form of testosterone, which is because of aromatase and estrogen. So prostate cancer is something where the prostate starts to swell, and there's PSAs, right, that start to go up, and it causes all kinds of issues. And doesn't necessarily have to be prostate cancer, because if we enlarge prostate, which causes problems, you know, but the actual cancer proliferation of cells, which is antigens, again, fungus and stuff which shouldn't be there, is caused by white blood cells, estrogen, and testosterone. you know, and the same way how we're getting rid of women with fibroid issues and whatever, and getting rid of cancer. That's what we use the same. We have essence of virility, which is for men to take, and it inhibits and that's the thing with essence of fertility and with essence of virility. It increases progesterone and testosterone to be naturally produced. So it ain't like you're taking a steroid, you're injecting or whatever. No, it's actually keeping your body in a balanced state of producing progesterone and testosterone, which is, you know, the ovaries and the testes produce progesterone and testosterone. So it's about producing proper testosterone at its right level and inhibiting estrogen productions. And that's what it does as well. Inhibits estrogen and aromatase. So we've been curing prostate cancer and ovarian cancer, endometrial cancer as well, because we are inhibiting the estrogen production and also the production of white blood cells. So, you know, anything inflammatory is being taken care of. So it's in the diet. There is no diet for men and diet for women. There ain't no, oh, I'm blood type O, so I can eat meat. I'm blood type A, so no, I just have to eat beets. I can eat eggs. No.
So what do you think about the Atkins diet? You know, diet?
Don't eat any meat. All right, no meat, no dairy, no fish, because fish is a meat. It's an animal, right? No white rice. All right, no brown rice, really and truly. But you know, there are cultures where they have brown rice and they eat in the, you know, like the Japanese, they eat like all right. No soy. I forgot about soy.
Oh yeah,
soy is terrible.
Tofu,
miso.
If you're gonna get tofu, you need to get hemp tofu. And
no soy.
I have a recipe for you can make tofu homemade yourself.
Right. So tofu is very high in estrogen, very, very high. So you or soy is very high in estrogen. So you have some people who've given up dairy and they've gone to soy, and they go to these unchicken, and they, you know, restaurants where it's and they get unchicken or that, and they're getting sick. It's why you're sick. Soy isn't a food. And oh well, the Asians eat soy, they don't get sick. That's because they ferment it, and which we don't like no fermentation, but the amount of it that they eat is very minute.
Oh, you forgot about quinoa. Quinoa is really good.
Oh, you forgot that.
No, I didn't forget that. Sure. I'm asking you questions.
Anyways, so quinoa is excellent. Quinoa is a superfood. It's a fruit. It's not a grain, it's a fruit. But it's a superfood. Chlorophyll, superfood. All right? So there's superfoods that are there that you should be making sure you get into your body as much as possible.
A lot of people like the juice, and that was going to be the next segment, the next episode, is juicing, having a juicer and juicing. Is it is it good for you really? Are you really getting your vitamins, or are you just drinking
whole foods are best. Whole
foods. Juicer.
I know. Yeah. Whole foods are best. So when you juice, you're getting rid of the pulp. If you're blending, it's all right to blend because the blender still keeps the fiber, you know, the pulp. That's from the fruit. But when you get rid of the fiber and you're only left with the fruit, the juice, you're getting rid of a whole bunch of nutrients that are there to balance the effect of all the sugar in the juice.
Right. So I suggest
so the juice on its own becomes a toxin.
The Vitamix, you can stick the whole fruit inside the Vitamix and have a puncher and get rid of that. So I'd rather use the Vitamix instead of getting them.
Yeah, don't get rid of the pulp.
Or a
blender.
Right. So are you going to have any classes or anything coming up soon that they can join, or because a lot of people might want to learn about herbs or learn more about herbs or
if they're in the ATL, we're doing a series of classes down at Sevananda, which is on Moreland Avenue, and we will be live streaming. We will be live streaming as well at those events. So you can see me on Instagram at dr.amsu. That's at Dr. Amsu, dr.amsu, right, on Instagram. And when we have events, we do put them through at dr.amsu, dr.amsu, and I'm on Facebook as Dr. Amsu Anpu. It's like one word, Dr. Amsu Anpu.
Is there any groups that they can join on, like a group on Facebook?
There's AMA Health that you can join on Facebook, which is a group. There is 90-Day Hope Beyond Fibroid Elimination group that you can join. We will have more groups, you know, because we're gonna start groups for lupus.
And we're gonna talk about lupus. There's a lot of people on it.
Multiple sclerosis, diabetes, heart disease, hypertension. You know,
that will be on the next segment. If he's not busy, he can come talk about the lupus, because lupus is very a family member of mine has lupus really bad, and I'm really glad to see her, like, you know, walking around, but it's still a serious case, you know, to see someone get that sick. So I know a lot of you that are friends with me on Facebook, you are doing a campaign for your lupus. So if he's not busy, or him and Dr. Amun's not busy, you know, they can come back and we'll have a lupus night, and you guys can, you know, hear the AMA Health doctors out and get started in changing, because I just want everybody free from all the medications and just really,
food is your medicine.
Yeah. So anything else you
want to say? Medicine is your food. We have a site that's under development now, amahealth.org, which will actually be the way how you can book consultations with us as well. You can book consultations through fibroidelimination.com as well, but you can hit me, DM me on Instagram at dr.amsu on Instagram.
How much are they?
Our consultations start at $100, and you get like 45 minutes to an hour, maybe beyond.
It's worth it.
You know,
it's worth it.
So, you know, we cure shit is our slogan. Reservoir Docs, we cure shit. So, you know, it's a taboo thing for doctors to say cure, but you know, there is no real cure to anything, because if you go back to your bad habits, it will come back. So we reverse, but you know, we like to say we cure shit because that sounds good, that sounds better.
He just wants to be happy. So anyway, at the end of the day, I really want to thank everyone who was popping in and out and joining, and those who stayed on. So at the end of the day, the choice is yours. You have free will, and you know, if you're interested in more, you want to have a consultation, play this back to get the information, or inbox me on Facebook. My site is under construction, the House of Vegannatti. There are a lot of great things coming. Stay tuned. This week is the pre-launch sale of the House of Vegannatti Food Mantra Guidebook. Also, Give Me Back My Womb. The event is $45 to $60. You get the $60 price. You get your Kura kit. That is the steaming, the herbal steaming. We're going to go about how the herbs help if you're steaming. If he's not busy, he'll be on there.
I'll be there.
Also, you will get to meet another co-host, another person. Miss Natalie Turner will be there. She had a great event today in Philadelphia about the womb. So she's doing her thing. So we will be there. So please, if you're interested on the Give Me Back My Womb event, it's very important. You need to take it back instead of giving it to the surgeon, so they can do whatever they want to our wombs. And not only that, you need to live and be healthy. That is your second abode of heaven. So honor your womb. So make sure you're there for that. And what else? I just want to thank you and tell you I love you. If no one didn't tell you they love you today, I do. I don't know about him. So.
Oh, love you too.
No.
Love you too.
But this is real.
You're welcome.
This is Real TV. Stay tuned for a lot more different events, a lot more conversations. This needs to be known out there. At the end of the day, let's see if someone left me a question. No, it wasn't a question. Oh, then again, hold on. Can't find the group. Just tell them it's A, capital M, capital A.
Yeah, AMA Health.
It's A, capital A, M, capital A, Health. If there's any more questions, does anyone else want to answer before we go and say goodbye? It's never goodbye, but it is, see you soon. We need to do more of these. Stay tuned this Sunday coming, it will be round 2 of the round table with the House of Vegannatti, and also we will be on Periscope. So, we're trying to take this by storm. We will take this by storm.
Something to do with your Sunday evenings now that Game of Thrones ain't on. We got like a year.
He's a
whole year.
Him and his
Game of Thrones.
Him and his love for Khaleesi. This is about health and wellness, and he talking about some Khaleesi.
GOT.
Whatever. Anyway, I could be talking about Tyrese, but I won't. At the end of the day, hi Tyrese, I love you. Anyway, you're just chocolate. So this is how we have fun. You got to make things fun and alive so you can keep coming back. So please take this affirmation into your information, into your body, and take the step to be cured, be healed. Hopefully your mind has been healed. If he didn't break it down in your level, just tell him the next time. And I had to figure out YouTube so you guys could chat on YouTube. I did Google Hangouts. I just figured out I could have did it on, but that's on Sunday again. So stay tuned for the second.
And she isn't taller than me. Her seat's just higher. My seat is actually
I am taller than him.
Just in case she's wondering, that guy's little. No.
He's not
I'm
little.
actually 6'4".
He isn't. He's right by me, but it's a cute thing. Okay, these men always think they're taller than women, but we're going to show them this year. So to all my men, hopefully he'll do a segment just for men, because men feel out. They feel left out there. So
I know, but men don't like to talk about their.
Don't forget, please. It looks backwards. Got fibroids. It looks some. I don't know if I could change the camera, but how much is this book? The hardback.
The hardback is $59.99.
Okay, the hardback is $59.99.
The ebook is $49.99.
And the ebook is what?
$49.99.
$49.99. It is worth it. You get your exercises and everything. You do have it where you can get the kit, right?
Yeah. You can get the fibroid elimination
toolkit. You can get the toolkit and everything. So inbox me if you're interested in getting this. Even if you don't have fibroids, you need to read this.
It's for all estrogen dominance, whether you have fibroids.
Even if you're walking healthy, you need to get this. And those who are vegan and vegetarian, you need to get this too. It doesn't matter if you feel you're healthy. Like I said, you can look good on the outside all you want to. Still change the mind, change the view, change everything to a healthier you, and you'll be all right. So if I hurt your feelings tonight, I'm sorry. If we said some stuff that you don't agree with, because your body is like feeling ill with it because you're fighting, I'm sorry, but it's time to wake you up and set you free. So I love you. This is Vegan Chef Emmy Wu, Dr. Amsu, the Reservoir Doctors, the Reservoir Hip Hop Doctors. And like he said, they cure shit. And I'm an empowerment. So at the end of the day, I love you. So have a wonderful night. Any questions, inbox me. Tell a friend, tell your family. Let them know it's time. Quit walking dead in your life. So peace.
Peace.